Please Reject Me, Alpha. A werewolf shifter romance, written by Lily Robert. Prologue. The sounds of celebration rise from below as Kate follows her younger sister down the grand staircase, her wolf's anxiety making her nerves a tight coil in her stomach. Stop fidgeting, Bianca scolds gently, catching Kate's restless fingers. I have a good feeling about this one. Kate holds back a snort. This isn't going to go any different from how it usually does. Another ball, another alpha, another night of inevitable humiliation. She feels the weight of every predatory stare, every whispered judgment that follows them like shadows as they enter the ballroom. The pack never tires of comparing the alpha's two daughters. Lovely, agreeable Bianca with her sweet omega temperament, and her difficult, scowling sister whose very scent seems to bristle with defiance. Undesirable, undeserving, and most of all, unmated. I heard Alpha Cain is supposed to be very kind, very handsome, Bianca insists. How can you still hold hope every time? Kate whispers, throat tight. This will be the 6th alpha to come seeking courtship, and the 6th to leave seconds upon meeting Kate. One day it will work out, Bianca insists, squeezing Kate's hand. You'll see. Kate studies her sister. Next to Bianca's ethereal beauty and gentle omega grace, Kate's dark hair and midnight blue gown seem severe, unwelcoming. Yet Kate is the eldest, the heir, and her continued failure to secure a match while her sister stands engaged hasn't escaped the pack's notice. Are you angry with me? She asks Bianca softly. She'd have every right to be. Their mother's dying wish had been clear, enforced by pack law. The younger daughter cannot be mated before the elder. Because of Kate, Bianca's happiness hangs in limbo, but Bianca just smiles, gentle as dawn. Never. You'll find the one, sister. I know it. Through the crowd, Kate catches the powerful scent of an approaching alpha, her wolf instantly alert. Another suitor who's about to despise her. Her father's alpha voice rings out, commanding attention. My daughters, may I present Alpha Cain, who has traveled far to meet with us. Silence falls like a shroud as Kate takes her place beside her father's throne, feeling the weight of pack hierarchy press down on her. Across the room, she catches Bianca's encouraging smile. It makes Kate's heart sink. Beside her sister stands Silas, his sky-blue eyes and falsely gentle scent drawing admiring glances even now. Silas, who had once sought Kate's hand himself. Now he is to be Bianca's mate, or so he thinks. Kate smirks, resolved. She can do this. She has to. This is not her first rodeo anyway. Lady Katrina, the Alpha Cain, bows. I've journeyed from the Western Territories, hoping you might grant me permission to court you. The entire room turns to Kate, holding its breath. Showtime, Kate thinks, settling back into her chair and crossing her legs in deliberate challenge. To court me? She arches an eyebrow as she studies her nails. And what made you think I'd be open to that? Well, your father already indicated... My father gave you his blessing, Kate interrupts with a snort. And you thought that equated to having mine? The whispers grow sharper, wolves shifting restlessly at this breach of protocol. Kate feels her father's disapproval radiating beside her, but she presses on, making sure to sound as insufferable as possible. Did you think you'd simply walk in here and I'd swoon, when you're not even the most handsome alpha to stand in this very spot, begging for my time? Kate! Her father's warning growl crackles through the air. Once, she would have dug her nails into her palms at that tone. Now she sits straighter, ice crystallizing around her heart. I meant no disrespect, she says mockingly. I'm sure Alpha Cain has a great personality. A collective growl rumbles through the hall. 6 years of disappointment and hostility have taught her to wear their hatred like armor. Let them see her as an insufferably spoiled brat. There's no other way. Is there anything else you'd like to add to make yourself look more pleasing in my eyes? Kate asks sweetly. She gets a snarl in response, his wolf barely contained. Then I believe I shall retire for the evening, Father. Kate concludes sweetly. As Kate descends the dais, she feels their fury like burning brands against her skin, their wolves' collective disapproval a tangible force. But passing her sister, she meets Silas's perfect, lying smile and is reminded of why she must continue this charade. As long as Kate remains unmated, so must Bianca. She lifts her chin higher, letting her defiance flash as she returns Silas's smile. Her sister will never be his. Not as long as Kate shall live. Chapter 1. Kate barely makes it 3 steps from the great hall before Bianca catches up to her, Silas in tow. Her wolf bristles at his scent, something sickly sweet that reminds her of rotting flowers. To everyone else, she supposed his smell must be irresistible. Her sister's face is pinched with concern, while Silas's perfect smile doesn't quite reach his eyes. Are you all right? Bianca asks, reaching for Kate's hand. You seemed upset in there. Just tired, Kate forces herself to say, her wolf growling deep in her mind as she tries to ignore Silas's knowing smirk. Let me speak with her. He cuts in smoothly. Brother to sister, if you will. Bianca beams at him. What a wonderful idea, my love. You always know exactly what to say to make Kate feel better. The sight of him makes me sick, Kate snaps, her canines lengthening slightly with her anger, but Bianca just smiles wider. Don't worry about being alone with him, her sister says. I trust you both completely. Before Kate can protest, Silas's hand is gripping her elbow, steering her toward a private balcony. Her wolf recoils at his touch. Everyone else just waves at him enthusiastically as they pass, making Silas preen. He lives for the attention. Don't touch me! Kate's stomach turns as Silas laughs. Women should know their place, he proclaims loudly, making someone nearby exclaim, What a feminist! Bianca is so fortunate. Stepping outside, Kate grips the balcony rail, her enhanced hearing picking up snippets of conversation from the party below. Her wolf paces restlessly, urging her to run, to fight, to do something. But she's been through interactions like these enough times to know she shouldn't try to escape them. If Silas wants a conversation with her, he'd ensure to get it. Resistance was futile. Kate sighs. The first time she'd seen him, all golden curls and baby blue eyes, the ambitious beta from a neighboring pack, she hadn't thought much of him. He, on the other hand, declared himself in love with her after one meeting. Back then, she'd found him merely uninspiring, and she'd rejected him quickly but politely. She'd already given her heart away long ago. Not that it mattered anymore. What are you thinking about? Silas asks, too close. How if I'd known how evil you were upon meeting you, I'd have ended you right there and then. His answering smile is radiant. You know, it gets rather boring when everyone worships you, he says. Your point? My point, dear sister, is that your hatred... He leans in to whisper, It amuses me. Kate rolls her eyes. Don't call me sister. I'll never be your sister. I'll never be your anything. And neither will Bianca. Bianca's already mine. His smile turns cruel. So trusting, so willing. Kate's hand flies up to slap him, but Silas catches her wrist. Careful now. Better they think you're just a bitter hag I passed over for Bianca than the alternative. The alternative? Kate snarls. You mean that you're a power-hungry sociopath who somehow cursed everyone to see you as perfect? Silas grins. I mean the fact that you don't like me. Rather deranged of you, really? Everyone likes me? Watch. He turns to the courtyard below. Hey, Kyle. I murdered your son because I didn't like his face. Thank you for your condolences, Silas. Kyle smiles tearfully. See? Silas turns back to her, triumphant. I'm never letting you near my sister. Kate whispers, Well, there's a simple solution. one I keep offering. His voice turns silky. Be mine instead, Kate. It's what I always wanted. Your father's pack, you as my Luna. You wouldn't have to worry about little Bianca then. You disgust me. Something flashes behind his eyes. Impatience, hunger. Either you'll have me, or you'll let me have Bianca. You won't be able to keep pushing suitors away forever, Katrina. You mean the ones you keep paying to court me? Watch me. Can you blame me for wanting the best for my darling sister? Don't pretend this is about me. You just want father's pack. And what I want, I get. His smile turns sharp. You never got me. Kate smirks, knowing how her continued resistance grates on him. Sure enough, his perfect mask slips, revealing an ugly scowl. And how's that working for you? Everyone in your pack hates you, your father's at his wit's end, and your sister. Bianca would never turn against me, Kate interrupts. We'll see about that. Silas's laugh echoes as he leaves her alone on the balcony. Your time's running out. These little games of yours have gone on long enough. Kate watches him go, her nails, now more claw than human, cutting crescents into her palms. In the courtyard below, she can hear people praising his kindness, his wisdom, his gentle heart. Her wolf howls in frustrated rage, matching her own desire to scream. She doesn't, though. She's long learned her screams mean nothing when they're against Silas.
Chapter 2. Writer. 5 days later. The party is in full swing, shifters from 3 packs mingling in the grand hall as orchestral music drifts through the air. All this extravagance for what should have been a simple negotiation over the silver root. Ryder exhales, studying his champagne glass. Everything about this screams old money. Alpha Derek's not-so-subtle reminder that despite Ryder's success, he's still considered new blood. About that deal, he starts, steering the conversation where it needs to go. His pack requires access to Derek's trade routes to transport silver ore to human territories. It's dangerous work, which makes it profitable. To the youngest Alpha in the Western Territories, Derek interrupts, raising his glass. 3 hours, and Derek still hasn't focused on business. Alpha Ryder, a soft voice interjects. A blonde shifter presses in, her scent radiating interest. I've heard so much about you. She leans closer than necessary. They say you're the most eligible Alpha in 3 territories. Ryder quirks a brow. Do they? Really? He's not one to downplay his reputation, but flattery is easy to recognize. They say you're dangerous, she purrs, tracing a finger down his arm. A lone wolf who came from nothing and built an empire. Careful. He catches her wrist, amusement in his tone. A man might think you're after more than just his empire. She leans in, lips grazing his ear. And if I am? Ryder holds back a snort. Dangerous territory, little wolf. He releases her hand with a wink. Derek watches her sashay away before commenting. That's the 3rd one tonight. You can't turn them all down. I can't? A pack needs a Luna, Ryder. So I've been told. He downs the rest of his champagne, eyeing a server with fresh glasses. Don't tell me you're a closeted romantic waiting for the one? Derek smirks. Nothing of the sort, I assure you. I smell a story there. Derek catches the shadow crossing Ryder's face. It isn't one worth telling. His tone is clipped. Now, about the silver transports. The double doors crash open, sending crystal glasses rattling. The room stills as a stormy presence strides in. Without a glance at anyone, the newcomer beelines to the drink cart, grabbing an expensive whiskey. Derek perks up, sensing drama. Well, if it isn't Alpha Kane. Derek grins. I take it the courtship didn't go as planned? Kane takes a long pull from the bottle before slumping beside them. Told you so, Derek sing-songs before turning to Ryder. Our friend here ignored my sage advice and tried courting a certain shifter princess known for her particular taste in men. Particular? Ryder humors him, though he couldn't care less about spoiled Alpha daughters. They say she's rejected hundreds, Derek exclaims. Ryder raises a dubious brow. Hundreds? At least, Derek gestures to Kane. And he's the latest victim. She's a fury, Kane growls, slamming the bottle down. An absolute fury. Derek, delighted, leans in. What did you do to displease this fury? Nothing but breathe in her general direction. Kane practically vibrates with rage. That alone earned me her ire. Never in my life have I met such a spoiled, aggravating woman. I told him she had the reputation of a shrew, Derek stage whispers. But he went anyway because her daddy's rich. Ryder tunes them out, recalculating how to get this conversation back on track. As if you're not planning to try your luck too, Derek, Kane grumbles. Her father owns enough gold mines to buy entire territories. Whoever mates with Alpha Jensen's daughter would... Ryder stops listening. That name. Jensen. His former Alpha. The man who'd rescued him from his abusive mother. Who'd given him a home and a purpose. A man he'd once been desperate to impress, like a child seeking approval. But Ryder had never been Jensen's son. Just another guard trained on his estate. And on that estate had lived 2 daughters. The eldest had found a mate 6 years ago, which meant... Wait, Ryder interrupts. Are you saying Bianca Winters was the one to wrong you? It doesn't make sense. Sweet Bianca, who used to chase him around with cookies, who'd never had an unkind word for anyone. Bianca? That cute little blonde thing? Kane laughs. Of course not. She's been engaged to Silas Thorne for ages now. Everyone knows that. He must have missed it because Ryder's pack is settled abroad, Derek begins. He's only here to visit. Sorry, Ryder cuts in, unable to help himself. But you said you'd been courting Alpha Jensen's daughter, so I assumed... I meant his eldest. Ryder nearly chokes on his drink. Look how he scowls, Derek crows, pointing at Kane. Won't even say her name, that's how shaken he is. Shut up, Kane growls. Go on, big guy. What was the little lady's name again? Katrina, Ryder mutters, barely aware he's spoken. He sees flashes of dark hair, a mocking smirk, a girl who, unlike her sister, never shared her cookies or anything else for that matter. She's unmated? The words slip out before Ryder can stop them. She's unhinged, that's what she is. Kane scoffs. But what about Silas Thorne? Ryder presses and immediately regrets it as pain lances through his skull. Fragments of memory surface. A handsome blonde man, Kate mentioning a proposal, but trying to focus makes his head throb. Oh, Silas, great guy. Kane brightens. You know these people? Derek eyes Ryder. I'm only asking to be polite. You obviously do. Ryder ignores him, rubbing his temples. This can't be right. Silas had asked for Kate's hand, not Bianca's. And Kate had said yes. Hadn't even told Ryder first. Just agreed. Like he was nothing more than a plaything she'd tired of. I think I'll retire for the evening, Ryder says, pushing to his feet. Derek looks surprised. Already? Ryder had planned to keep pressing about the silver route, but now he just wants to sleep. He's halfway down the moonlit corridor when a voice stops him. Alpha Ryder. A lean wolf with Kane's pack markings hurries to catch up, his diplomatic pins marking him as a beta. Forgive the interruption, the beta says, slightly out of breath. I was fortunate to catch you. I've been charged with delivering this. He produces a sealed envelope. From a rather beautiful young lady. For one irrational moment, Kate's face flashes through Ryder's mind. Then he sees the Winterpack seal in the dark wax, and his heart stutters. His fingers don't shake as he breaks the seal. They don't. But something in his chest does clench when he sees the flowing signature at the bottom. Not Kate's precise strokes, but Bianca's gentle curves. Thank you for your discretion, he mutters. He waits until the beta's footsteps fade before leaning against the cool stone wall. What could sweet little Bianca want with him after all these years? Ryder opens the letter and reads.
Chapter 3. Kate, a week later. Kate barely has time to reach her chambers before her father's heavy footsteps echo down the hall, his alpha presence radiating anger that makes her wolf want to bare its throat in submission. She braces herself, hands clasped behind her back as the door flies open with enough force to rattle the hinges. That's enough. Jensen's voice carries both paternal concern and an alpha's command, making the air crackle with authority. 7 suitors, Kate. 7 respected alphas you've driven away with deliberate cruelty. And let's not even mention the others, strong betas, warriors, leaders in their own right. What game are you playing? This isn't a game, Kate says, keeping her voice light even as her wolf paces restlessly. You promised I could marry for love. Love? He barks out a laugh that's more growl than humor. Love requires you to give someone, anyone, a chance. Instead, you've turned away every suitable match without so much as a conversation. Alpha Cain traveled 3 days to meet you. And Alpha James had traveled 5, Kate reminds him, turning to her window. Neither were suitable. How would you know? Her father barks. You spent all of 5 minutes insulting the 2 of them, which was plenty enough to know neither were the one. Her father's frustration rolls off him in waves. Kate, please. Think of your sister if you won't think of yourself. Bianca and Silas have waited patiently, but it's been long enough. It definitely hasn't been long enough. If it were up to me, Kate says, turning to face him, Bianca and Silas would keep waiting forever. There is a pause, a short second during which Kate meets her father's eyes. And during that short second, she forgets. She forgets things aren't as they should be, and that her father will not understand her. But then something like relief passes over her father's face, and Kate's heart sinks as he exclaims, You're absolutely right. The sooner they marry, the better. Silas will make an excellent addition to our pack. Kate flinches. No matter how many times she's seen it happen over the past 6 years, hearing her own words being twisted into a whole different meaning still cuts deep. What magic could do this? What had Silas done to enchant the entire world so completely? And how come only Kate had been spared? She opens her mouth, another futile attempt to make her father understand, but stops. What's the point? He'll hear only what that damn curse allows him to hear. You were different once. Jensen observes quietly. You never did tell me what happened 6 years ago when you and... Don't. Kate's voice cracks because she knows where this is going and she's got enough on her plate, is it? She doesn't need to be reminded of that day, of him. She won't think about him. I don't want to talk about it. Kate insists. Jensen's eyes soften slightly. Look, Kate, it's clear that whatever happened between you two... I said I don't want to talk about it, Kate snaps, her canines lengthening with emotion. Her father's patience visibly thins his alpha energy, filling the room with such pressure that Kate's ears pop. Kate, her father's voice softens, misreading her expression. Your mother wouldn't want this for you, or for Bianca. The mention of her mother makes Kate's chest ache. Would she have seen through Silas's spell? Would she have believed her daughter? Silas told me how restless the pack grows. Jensen continues, making Kate's wolf bristle at the name. He mentioned to me just yesterday how your behavior reflects poorly on my leadership. Of course he did, Kate snarls, her control slipping, and I'm sure whatever else Silas said about me was just as helpful. Yes, as you say, he is concerned about you. We all are. Jensen runs a hand through his silver-streaked hair. The pack needs stability, Kate. We need to show strength, especially now. Since when do you let an outside wolf dictate pack matters? The words burst out before Kate can stop them. She knows she made a mistake when her father's scent sharpens with anger. Your continued defiance undermines my authority, he snarls. The other packs are starting to talk. Kate wants to scream. She needs to phrase things without mentioning Silas directly, but it's near impossible when he's at the center of all of her problems. With no ability to expose him and his actions, whatever she says to defend hers sounds unhinged. This isn't about your authority, she tries. This is about... Jensen interrupts. This is about you refusing to act like the future leader you're meant to be. Jensen's voice rises, his wolf pressing down on hers. Silas was right. I've been too lenient. Are you joking? Kate's laugh holds an edge of hysteria. Father, you don't understand. Enough, Jensen roars. I've been patient. I've respected your wishes, but you're not playing fair, Katrina. You leave me no choice. He draws himself up to his full height, power rolling off him in waves. By pack law and tradition, I invoke the trial of courtship. Kate's blood runs cold. He did not just say that. He can't mean that. Father, please. She pales. The next unmated alpha male who walks through our gates will have the right to court you through the 10 trials. His alpha voice resonates with finality. And if he completes them successfully and still wants you as his mate, you will accept. You can't do this, Kate protests. I can and I will. Jensen's eyes flash alpha gold. I am still your alpha, daughter, and it's time you remembered that. Kate's wolf thrashes against the command, but it's no use. She knows the law, knows there's no escape from this. Either the curse breaks, or I do, she thinks, as her father strides from her room, the door slamming behind him. But she knows which is more likely at this point.
Chapter 4. Ryder. The winter estate rises out of the evening mist, like a ghost clawing its way out of Ryder's past. 6 years, and the place hasn't changed, still looming over the hillside. Not too shabby, Derek mutters from the passenger seat. Ryder doesn't respond, his grip tightening on the steering wheel as their car passes the old oak tree. Even in the fading light, he can see the worn patch of bark where she used to lean, arms crossed, that smirk playing on her lips. Jensen must be eager to ship his daughter off. Throwing an impromptu ball this size, Derek drawls, pointing to all the car following theirs down the winding path. Perhaps he just likes the entertainment. Ryder shrugs, receiving a dubious look for his effort. He invited half the continent? Derek insists. Hell, he even invited you, who's not even from around here, and whose pack is like 4 years old. Ryder rolls his eyes. Carr handed off to a concierge. His fingers brush the letter in his pocket. Bianca's words had been vague. But why would she request to see Ryder now, after all this time, if it weren't important? Sweet Bianca. He wouldn't have come back if not for her. The grand ballroom is a study in old money meets modern excess. Crystal chandeliers casting rainbows across polished marble. Ryder scans the crowd, his wolf straining against its leash for a scent it hasn't caught in 6 years. A hush falls over the crowd. Alpha Jensen has arrived, now taking the center of the room. Beside him stands Silas Thorne, golden and perfect as ever, with Bianca on his arm. My friends, Jensen's voice carries effortlessly through the hall. You honor us with your presence, having traveled so far. He raises his glass in a toast. Since you've made the journey, he continues, I might as well share why I've gathered so many distinguished alphas here tonight. Here we go. Derek practically vibrates with anticipation. As many of you may have heard, Jensen's voice tightens slightly. My eldest daughter, Katrina, has yet to find a suitable mate. Derek snorts. Wonder why? She seems lovely. To remedy this, Jensen forges ahead. I will be holding a tournament, a series of trials, open to any alpha willing to compete. The victor, he pauses, clearly choosing his words. The victor will win my daughter's hand in marriage. The silence that follows is deafening, as everyone begins to glance collectively around the room. And where is the lady in question? Someone finally dares to call out. Jensen's grimace is painful to watch. Kate is, powdering her nose. He manages. Bianca, would you? Bianca nods and slips away, presumably to fetch her sister. The whispers start immediately. Does she even want a mate? Ryder hears someone asks. Everyone knows she doesn't. 7 alphas all rejected. Heard she made the last one cry. The whispers build, each voice adding to the tide of disapproval. Ryder frowns, something not sitting right in his chest. This doesn't sound like the Kate he knew. Oh, she'd always been proud, quick to anger when challenged, but she'd understood duty, had respected it even. I heard she... A nearby wolf starts, but Jensen's voice cracks through the hall like a whip. Enough! Whoever wins these trials, Kate will accept as her mate. The great doors blast open with enough force to rattle the chandeliers. Ryder's wolf surges forward in his mind. Katrina Winters is here, chin lifted in deliberate challenge, draped in blood-red silk. A vision. The collective intake of breath is audible, some fearful, some disapproving, all wary. But the crowd's hostility seems to be rolling off her like water. She's different and exactly the same, his Kate. Still all steely gaze and deadly grace, though there's something harder in her now that makes Ryder frown. What happened to you? He wants to ask. Who is this stranger wearing your features like armor, striding in with a scowl instead of a smirk? What has made you defensive instead of confident? You wanted to see me, father? She asks. I was just explaining about the trials, Jensen grits out. As you're well aware. Kate's shrug is disdain personified. Right, your little trials. She quickly scans the crowd. Well, father, I only hope these gentlemen don't care much for their private parts. Her smile turns wicked as the crowd collectively gasps. Are we to expect grievous injury during these trials, Lady Kate? Derek calls out, clearly entertained. That depends on your own competence. Her eyes glitter. Though I promise you will be gravely injured if you dare climb into my bed uninvited, Alpha whoever. And trust me, none of you will ever be invited. Kate's smirk only grows as she watches her father's face turn an interesting shade of purple. Kate is only joking, he grinds. Kate is being very serious. Kate smirks. The crowd's practically booing at this point. Ryder's somewhat impressed with Kate's commitment to being hated. Enough! Jensen roars, and the hall falls silent. I've had enough of this. I thought I'd been clear, Kate. Whichever Alpha wins this trial will be your mate. And whoever will be my mate will lose his balls. Kate smirks at the crowd. Just thought I'd be clear as well. Alpha Jensen looks murderous. You leave me no choice, daughter, he snarls before turning to address the crowd. Heed my words. Whoever wins these trials in Kate's hand will become more than just her mate. I hereby declare the winner to be this pack's next Alpha. The silence that follows the statement is deafening as the entire ballroom collectively processes the magnitude of Alpha's Jensen words. Did he actually just promise what I think he's promised? Derek whispers to Ryder, sounding serious for the first time in days. Yes. Jensen's voice builds like gathering thunder. Everything, every acre of territory, every silver mine. His eyes sweep the suddenly electric crowd. Our alliances, our resources, our power, all of it will pass to whoever proves worthy of being my daughter's mate. Silas steps forward, his perfect face alight with what looks like concern. Alpha, perhaps... Silence. Jensen's command rings through the hall. The tension in the room is a living thing, coiling around them all like a snake about to strike. Any Alpha who wishes to compete, his voice drops lower. Step forward now and declare yourself before your brothers. The room erupts into chaos as Alphas surge forward, each trying to outmaneuver the others to reach Jensen first. Snarls and growls fill the air as shoulders clash and elbows jab. Ryder's eyes fall onto Kate, her fingers curling into fists at her sides, and his feet move of their own accord, before her voice, soft but sure, rings in his ears. I'm sorry, Ryder, but Silas understands me in a way you never could. He just makes more sense as a mate. Ryder winces. Right, he's being stupid. Enough of this. He pivots, ready to walk away from this whole mess. Derek's hand catches his arm. Where do you think you're going, big guy? Ryder snarls. I'm not interested in forcing myself on a woman who clearly doesn't want a mate. This isn't about what she wants. Derek's voice drops low, urgent. This is about becoming alpha of the most powerful pack in 3 territories. She'll accept her duty soon enough. They all do. Ryder shakes his head. Time to move on. I wish you luck in the competition, he tells Derek. Don't be stupid. Derek's grip tightens. We could help each other. You ensure I win, and that trade deal you've been pushing for? Consider it done. Ryder pauses, looking at Kate again. And if I win? He hears himself ask. Derek's smile is sharp. You won't. We'll work out a strategy, but I guarantee you if you get me this pack, we'll be more than just allies. We'll be brothers. And I make sure my family thrives. Your deal, the resources you've helped me win here, whatever you need. Ryder's wolf paces restlessly beneath his skin. The practical part of his brain catalogs the benefits, the trade routes, the alliance with a powerful alpha. But, come on, Derek presses. You're an alpha now. It's practically your responsibility to do what's best for your pack. That hits home. Ryder has responsibilities, people depending on him. He's not that lovesick guard panting after the unreachable alpha's daughter anymore. Can't afford to. And besides, he doesn't owe Kate anything. She disregarded him. Their love, like it was nothing, made Ryder feel like less than nothing. His hand meets Derek's before he can second-guess himself. Deal.
Chapter 5. Kate. Kate watches the alphas scramble like dogs fighting over a fresh bone, her being the bone in this particularly charming metaphor, and fights to keep her hands from shaking. 6 years of managing impossible situations, and this might be her father's crowning achievement in making her life hell. The humiliation burns deep in her chest as she watches them push and jostle, their eyes hungry not for her, but for what she represents. She's not even a person to them, just a means to an end, a convenient stepping stone to power. The weight of their stares makes her skin crawl, but she forces her chin higher. She can't afford to show weakness. Not now, not ever. The real kicker isn't even being traded like premium livestock, though that cuts deeper than she'll ever admit. It's that there's no escaping this one, no sharp comment or calculated insult that can drive these wolves away. Not when the prize is no longer just her hand, but everything her family has built over generations. Then again, Kate's mind starts turning even as her heart aches. Perhaps these trials aren't just another trap. Perhaps if she plays this right, they could be an opportunity, a chance to finally protect her pack, and Bianca, from Silas once and for all. Her gaze finds Silas in the crowd, and for once his perfect mask slips. Oh, he's smiling that angelic smile that has everyone else cooing, but this clearly wasn't part of his plan. He'd expected to claim the pack through Bianca, to sidestep Kate entirely. But now, whoever wins these archaic trials will have legal claim to everything, in writing. The sight of his barely contained rage almost makes this disaster worthwhile. Almost. Then she catches Bianca's worried glance, her sister's genuine distress at Kate's predicament, and reality crashes back. None of this matters if she can't keep Bianca safe, keep her entire pack safe from the monster wearing an angel's face. He's already taken enough from Kate as it is. She lost the person she loved most, because of him. No more. Father. Kate approaches Jensen where he's discussing logistics with Bram. A word? Her father follows her into his study, and the moment the door closes, Kate lets loose. Cattle. She whirls on him. You're trading me like cattle. Jensen has the grace to look uncomfortable for all of 2 seconds before his alpha authority reasserts itself. You left me no choice, Katrina. He declares, going for imposing. This is entirely your doing. My doing? Kate screeches. I wanted to marry for love. A small grimace flashes across her father's features. And you will. He attempts. These trials will ensure what? Kate barks out a laugh. Look at them out there. They're not here for me. They're here for the pack, for the wealth, for the power. You've made sure I'll never know if anyone could actually want me. Only for me. Something like regrets flickers in Jensen's eyes. Perhaps I got a little carried away in my anger, he admits. But Kate, I can't look back on my words now. I'll look like an idiot. And before Kate can yell at him that he is, in fact, an idiot, he adds, besides, the trials will test more than strength, darling. I'll design them myself, ensure they reveal character, compatibility. Compatibility, Kate whispers, and lets her voice crack perfectly. Compatibility with someone who's only here because you promised them your wealth? Father, you've ensured my unhappiness forever. She makes her lip twist into a pitiful pout, like she would at the age of 6 to get more dessert. The technique doesn't get old. Jensen's face immediately falls. Kate, sweetheart, no, he attempts. Kate turns away from him dramatically, summoning her most lethal, effective weapon to the surface. The waterworks. As the first tear falls, then the next, she throws in a little whimper for dramatic effect. Maybe one more. Yes, that did sound quite effectively pitiful. Now 3, 2, 1. Baby, please don't cry. Right on cue, her father's voice edges toward panic. Kate responds by crying harder, adding a slight shoulder shake for effect. Katie Cat. Jensen hovers helplessly, using her childhood nickname. Please, I never meant... This is for your own good, for your future. My future? She turns back, face streaked with tears, the very picture of devastation. Father, I'll take my own life before letting you force me into a lifetime of misery. A sob. Not that you'd care. You never loved me anyway. Another sob. Her father looks on the verge of panic. Don't say that. Kate, baby, I love you more than anything. The big Alpha pleads, like he might cry himself. Kate makes sure her own sobs intensify as she hides her face behind her hands. Tell me how to fix this, Jensen begs. Darling, anything, please. Kate smirks for a short second, before revealing her perfectly decomposed face once more and meets her father's eyes. Would you be willing to call off the trials? She asks shakily. Jensen's face falls. I can't. He runs a hand through his hair, obviously conflicted. The pack needs a clear succession plan, and I need to know you'll be taken care of. Kate, please understand, I promised your mother. Fine. Kate sniffs delicately. I understand, Father. I shall do my duty. The relief on his face is almost comical. You will? He asks, voice practically shaking with relief. Kate lets out another sniff. Oh, darling. Jensen's expression melts into one of adoration. I'm so... On one condition. Kate interrupts, making a show of drying her tears with shaky hands. Anything, sweetheart? Her father says, actually dropping on one knee. Anything. Name it. Kate takes a deep breath, channeling every ounce of dramatic timing she possesses. I'll allow these trials, she says, and I'll mate with whoever wins them. If, Jensen breathes, holding on to her every word. Kate bites back a smirk. If you let me compete, Father. Silence befalls the room. Jensen blinks, then blinks again and says, I'm sorry, what? Let me compete in the trials. Kate lifts her chin. For my own hand, and for the pack. Her father's mouth opens, closes, opens again. All the while, Kate holds in a triumphant smirk, because her father might be an alpha, might command hundreds of wolves with a single word, but he never did learn how to handle her tears. Amateur.
Chapter 6. Writer. The following morning, The private reception room they've been taken to reeks of inflated egos. Ryder leans against the wall, watching the circus unfold with what he hopes is well-practiced indifference. The room is packed with what must be every unmated alpha this side of the continent, each trying to outposture the others like peacocks at a mating dance. "My pack's bloodline goes back 12 generations, boasts a mountain of a man with a neck thicker than Ryder's thigh. "That's cute," drawls a lean wolf with silver-streaked hair, examining his manicured claws. "Mine can be traced to the first pack themselves." In the corner, a barely grown pup who can't be more than 18 is rattling off profit margins and investment strategies to anyone who'll listen. What they need is someone with a fresh perspective. "What they need," interrupts a hulking brute with tribal tattoos crawling up his neck, "is someone who can actually protect their borders. I once took down 50 rogues single." "With your bare hands, in the snow, uphill both ways," Ryder mutters under his breath, earning a smirk from a silent, dark-haired man nearby. Ryder should probably be doing what Derek's currently doing, networking, building alliances. Instead, he's sulking in his corner like some pup at his first hunt, wondering what the hell he's doing here. The trade routes better be worth. Ryder looks up to find himself surrounded by what appears to be old money incarnate. Their leader, the silver-haired wolf, looks vaguely familiar now that Ryder thinks about it. "I don't believe it," Silverhair continues. "The half-breed charity case actually thinks he has a shot?" Ah, now Ryder remembers. Edmund Silvercrest. Old blood, older money, and a face that looks like he's permanently smelling something unpleasant. Alpha Edmund. Ryder lets his smile show too many teeth. "Still using your family tree as a personality substitute?" The door opens before Edmund can respond, Jensen's presence bringing immediate silence to the room. He surveys the gathered alphas with measured consideration, every inch the powerful leader about to bestow a great honor. "Gentlemen," he begins, "your interest in these trials honors both our pack and my daughter. Over the next 10 days, you will face challenges designed to test not just strength, but character. To win, you must not only complete all the trials, but complete before your opponents do. Each day brings elimination. Those who fail a trial are immediately cut. Among those who succeed, the slowest will also be eliminated if too many remain." "How many is too many?" The young entrepreneur pipes up. "By day 5, we need no more than 5 contestants," Jensen replies. "Right." The boy nods. "Well, currently we have 30 competitors." 31. A voice cuts through the room like a blade. Or did Daddy forget to mention that part? The temperature seems to drop several degrees as Kate materializes in the doorway. Ryder instinctively steps behind a marble column, then immediately feels ridiculous for doing so. But he stays there anyway. "My daughter," Jensen confirms, looking pained, "will also be competing." Silence befalls the room as Jensen clears his throat. For her own hand, he adds, sounding sheepish, "What?" The room erupts into furious protests. "Preposterous," Edmund sputters. "Women can't compete against alphas." The tribal tattoo guy pounds his fist on a table. Kate holds up one delicate hand. The gesture is so incongruously graceful that people actually shut up. "By all means," she says sweetly, "please explain to your future mate why you don't think she's your equal. I'm sure that won't come back to bite you in the slightest." The protests die down to uncertain mumbles. "In fact," Kate continues, beginning to pace like a predator sizing up prey, "do try to beat me and take my own pack away from me. See what happens." Her smile turns savage as she drones on. "How about I just tell you? You will fail. I will defeat you. And then I'll be coming for you. I'll come for everything you own. Starting with your resources, your businesses, your alliances, and after that, I'll come for what's left of your crumbling dignity. By the time I'm done, you'll be lucky if you can command the respect of a geriatric chihuahua." Someone actually gulps. "But that's just for warm-ups." Kate's eyes gleam with unholy glee. "Because once I've destroyed everything you own, I'll destroy you. I don't mean just your spirit or the sad dying spark that'll be left of it. I mean I'll physically end you, slowly, piece by piece, until every inch of you hurts so completely you'll wish you've never been born. Ryder's eyes travel down to Kate's lips as she speaks. He'd forgotten how often she wets them when threatening bodily harm. "I'll start by crushing your fingertips," Kate says. And there it is, her tongue licking her lower lip again. There's nothing quite as charming as witnessing that small pink tongue of hers dart across her full lips in between death threats. Ryder can't help staring, transfixed. "Then," Kate pursues, "I'll be cutting everything off, each finger, one by one, slowly, deliberately." Ryder's mind unhelpfully flashes to memories of Kate sucking on his fingers one by one, slowly and deliberately. God. He bites back a groan. "And don't even get me started on what I'll do to your genitals." Kate's practically bouncing now. "I have this lovely collection of rusty garden tools for that. The pruning shears are my favorite." The room collectively gags. Ryder, meanwhile, is having a crisis because he's supposed to be angry with Kate, but all he can think about is how perfectly she used to fit in his lap. What kind of weird Pavlovian reflex is this? "And then I'll take what's left of your spleen," Kate is saying cheerfully, "and use it to paint inspirational messages on your PAX meeting hall." Several alphas look ready to faint, though the young business wolf is actually taking notes. "Finally," Kate concludes, "I'll mail what's left of your pride to your mother. Cash on delivery, of course. I'm not a monster." Ryder shifts uncomfortably behind his column, beyond grateful for the loose cut of his formal pants. Kate's enthusiasm for creative violence really shouldn't be having such an effect on him, but it's just she's so thorough, so creative, so wonderfully unhinged in the way that used to drive him crazy. Kate pauses her litany of creative dismemberment to survey the room. "So, gentlemen, ask yourselves, is competing for a pack you probably won't actually win worth earning my eternal ire? Do you really think your territories can withstand my attention, should I decide to pay you a visit?" Her smile is pure predator. "Because I have such a good memory for faces." The silence is deafening. Then one alpha, pale as milk, steps forward. I think there's been a misunderstanding. I actually need to return home." "Really?" Kate asks innocently. "So soon?" "My apologies," he squeaks, backing toward the door. "Please accept my deepest apologies, my lady." It's like a dam breaking. Suddenly half the room is stumbling over excuses. "My territory's been having rogues problems. Just remembered I'm actually engaged. Would you believe I'm coming down with the flu?" Kate graciously accepts each stammered apology, looking for all the world like a benevolent princess rather than someone who just threatened to turn someone's pancreas into dog food. When the dust settles, only 15 alphas remain. The braver ones, the more ambitious ones, and one very frustrated, very aroused former guard who is seriously wondering how he's ever going to get through these trials when Kate won't merely be threatening, but actually enacting physical violence. He gulps, praying for the longest cold shower of his life. "Right." Jensen claps his hands together. "Well, now you've all met my daughter. Perhaps we should go around the room with introductions. Those of you still present." Tribal Tattoo steps forward first, chest puffed out. "Alpha Magnus Redclaw of the Northern Plains." "Boring," Kate cuts in, examining her nails. "Next, Lord Edmund Silvercrest, heir to—" "Shut up, Edmund. I know who you are, and I don't like you. Next." She starts pointing around the room rapid fire, not letting anyone finish. "You're too old. You're too young. You look stupid. Jesus, what is wrong with your hair, man? Are you actually sporting a mohawk?" Her finger moves like a weapon, each dismissal more cutting than the last. Ryder realizes then that she's going to notice him in just a few seconds. Kate Winters will actually be looking at him and insulting him in just a few seconds, for the first time in 6 years. For the first time since she'd butchered his heart and dumped it aside like trash. Well, fuck it. Squaring his shoulders, Ryder stepped forward and out of the shadows. Whatever mean remark is coming for him, he won't give Kate the satisfaction of looking thrown off. Never again. You're too tall, you're too small, you're... Kate's finger swings toward him, her mouth already open with another cutting remark. Then her eyes fall onto Ryder, and she freezes. She freezes, finger raised mid-air, lips parted. Hi, Kate. Ryder's voice comes out steadier than he feels. He actually manages a small smirk, rather pleased with the way Kate is gaping at him, color draining from her face. Serves her right. It's been a while. Ryder jokes, realizing his joke isn't particularly funny when Kate just stares at him. 1,000 emotions flash across her face too quickly to name. Shock, pain, fear, and suddenly, Kate runs. She doesn't walk quickly, doesn't make excuses. She flat out runs from the room like the hounds of hell are on her heels, leaving behind a silence so complete you could hear a pin drop. Right. Jensen's voice is artificially bright. First trial begins at dawn.
Chapter 7. Kate presses her forehead against the cool window of the car. Her hands won't stop shaking, her wolf clawing at her chest. The memory of Ryder standing there, right there in front of her after all this time. God, she'd made such a fool of herself, standing there gaping like some starstruck teenager, while he'd smirked at her with that infuriating confidence. Like it was nothing. Like 6 years of absence could be bridged with 2 casual words. And now she's going to have to face him again at this ridiculous welcoming party. Unless, perhaps this was all just some big misunderstanding, and he won't actually be competing in these stupid trials. Why is it not relief she feels at the thought? Don't pout. You should use tonight to your advantage, Bianca says beside her. Scout the competition, find their weaknesses, maybe even make some alliances. Kate stares at her sister. Are you actually trying to help me? Despite what me winning might mean for you? Kate having to mate with the winner of the trials would immediately allow Bianca to finally be with Silas, something her sister, sadly, yearns for due to the curse. But despite it, I'm always on your side. Bianca's smile is gentle but determined. I'd never wish for something that could make you unhappy, Kate. Never. The words catch in her throat. Because like so many times before, Kate wants to tell Bianca everything. About Ryder being here. About why seeing him again feels like having her chest carved open. But Silas's guards hover closer in the front seat, and Kate swallows it all back down. They're always there, watching. The club where the party is being held for some reason pulses with bass-heavy music and writhing bodies, the air thick with alcohol and pheromones. Kate watches her packmates lose themselves to the rhythm. Silas's people are everywhere, watching, reporting back to their master. Right, she needs him gone. And if she becomes the pack's next alpha, if she wins the trials, she'll finally be able to kick him out, banish him for good. Do you want a drink? Bianca nudges her. To help you relax? Kate shakes her head. Better not. This is Daddy's first trial. Watch. Kate nods toward an alpha currently groping a giggling wolf against the wall. Father's testing everyone's control. Anyone who breaks courting protocols tonight is automatically eliminated. That does sound like something Daddy would do, Bianca admits. Hello there, darling. Ice slides down Kate's spine at that familiar voice, at how that hand has settled possessively on her lower back. Silas materializes between them like a dark star, drawing all light into himself. My love, he purrs to Bianca, would you be a dear and fetch us some drinks? The moment Bianca disappears, Silas's grip tightens. Dance with me, he demands. I'd rather not, Kate replies. Oh? His smile doesn't waver. Is that Ryder I see by the bar? Kate can't help her reaction. Her head immediately tilts to the right, finding him leaning against a stool. The club lights paint shadows across his jaw, the jaw she used to kiss, one whose line she could draw from memory alone. He's so beautiful. But his eyes are cold when they meet hers. You must be thrilled to have him back. Silas's fingers dig into her spine as he maneuvers her through the crowd. It would be a shame if he were to disappear again. Kate's blood runs cold as Silas pulls her against his chest. Are you threatening me? Threatening you? Silas laughs. My dear Katrina, I thought we were past such obvious statements. Yes, I'm threatening you and him. Keep up. On the dance floor, Silas' grabby hands wander with calculated possession. Your father's asked me to help organize the trials, he murmurs against her ear. Judge them even. Isn't that wonderful? Kate's stomach churns. Across the floor, she catches Ryder's gaze, dark, angry. Her breath catch. As soon as someone finally pulls Silas away for a conversation, she bolts. She doesn't care about alliances or strategy anymore. She just needs to escape, to breathe. Strong hands catch her waist as she rounds a corner, pulling her into a shadowed alcove. Her wolf recognizes his scent before she does, every nerve ending lighting up at the familiar touch. Ryder, she says, hating herself for sounding breathless. What do you want? He looks good. Too good. All sharp angles and quiet power, nothing like the young guard who'd left 6 years ago. And yet still very much the incarnation of everything she's ever loved. Because he's Ryder. The years have filed away his softer edges, left behind something dangerous and compelling that makes her wolf pace restlessly beneath her skin. But he's Ryder. She's so happy to be near him again she could cry. Apparently he doesn't feel the same. What do I want? He scoffs. That's all you've got after all this time? Well, what were you expecting? She meets his eyes. A kiss? An arrogant smile paints his lips as his hazel eyes shimmer gold. Are you asking for one, Kate? His voice drops low against her ear, and just like that, she's lost. His scent, his tone, his mere presence. It's always been like this with him. When he's near, the rest of the world fades away. I haven't asked for anything, she observes, aiming for casual. You're the one who showed up out of nowhere. Yeah, you did seem a little surprised. His smirk widens, and Kate feels heat crawl up her neck. Well, you have been gone for 6 years, she defends, and you never asked after me. The accusation in his voice stings, like somehow his leaving was all her fault. From across the room, she catches Silas watching them, warning clear in his perfect eyes. The sight sends ice through her veins. You're the one who left, Ryder, she snaps, because suddenly she's tired of pretending his departure didn't shatter her. Well, what else was I supposed to do, princess? His grip on her waist tightens. Be the ring bearer at your wedding? Kate holds back a scream of frustration. 6 years ago, she'd tried telling Ryder that she'd refused Silas twice in his absence, and that somehow, everyone still assumed she was going to mate with him, and how the entire situation was insane, that something was wrong. Yet somehow, what Ryder had gotten from her panic was that she did, in fact, want to mate with Silas. Stupid curse. Why come back now, then? She demands, feeling discouraged. If you're still so upset? Because, he growls, you didn't mate with him. He stares, waiting. This is it, Kate thinks. The point where she'd need to tell him the truth. Except she can't, because Silas's curse won't let him hear it. No, she says quietly. I didn't. Even if she could somehow find a way to make things better with Ryder, it's not like things could go back to the way they were. Kate cannot take a mate, after all. Not before getting rid of Silas first. If you'll excuse me, she tries, pulling away. Ryder immediately catches her wrist. Why didn't you? He barks, tugging her back. Mate with him? Kate meets his eyes, willing him to see the truth she can't speak. Don't you know? She whines. Apparently he doesn't. Because he decided he'd rather have Bianca? Ryder's laugh bitter. Is that why you've been pushing every suitor away? To punish them? Her throat feels tight. She's going to cry. Oh God, she's going to cry in front of him. Did you come back because you were hoping I wouldn't push you away? She manages. Ryder snorts. Don't flatter yourself. I came back because Bianca asked me to. Bianca? Why is Ryder talking to Bianca? Sorrow evaporates, replaced by outrage. My sister? Are you kidding me, Ryder? She grabs his hair, yanking hard. Ryder winces as she pulls harder, bringing his face closer. She reached out to me. He groans. How dare you try to corrupt my sweet baby angel? Another sharp tug, and she's achingly aware of how close their faces are, how Ryder's pupils have dilated. I'm not. He pants against her lips. I swear. Their breaths mingle, and Kate can't look away from his mouth, can't stop remembering how it used to feel against hers. Besides, he growls, you're the one trying to corrupt your sweet angel's fiancé. She jerks back, outraged. What did you just say to me? Oh, come on, Kate, I saw you. Everyone did. On the dance floor with Silas. His voice drips with disgust. Throwing yourself at him? It's been 6 years, Kate. He's with Bianca now. Get over it. The accusation that she'd hurt Bianca like that she'd want Silas of all people, hits like a physical blow. Kate forces her lips into a cruel smile, even as something breaks inside her. You get over it. She seethes, and stop acting like a petulant child. They stare at each other, fury and hurt crackling between them like lightning. Good luck in the trials, he finally bites out. I don't need luck. She turns away before he can see her eyes water, leaving him in the shadows where he'd once felt like home. God, and to think she's going to have to compete with him for her own hand in marriage, when he doesn't seem to even want her anymore.
Chapter 8. Ryder follows the winter pack guard through frost-covered grounds, resisting the urge to rub his burning eyes. Sleep had been impossible. His mind replaying Kate's expression, the crack in her voice. His wolf paces, torn between satisfaction at her reaction and the maddening urge to fix what's broken. She's the one who ended it. She chose Silas. He shouldn't feel guilty just because she'd looked at him like he'd ripped her heart out. Except he does, and he hates it. There's our strategic genius, Derek calls, unfairly alert for dawn. He lounges against a tree as competitors gather, Magnus stretching his massive tattooed frame, Felix hunched over his laptop, Edmund holding court with sycophants. The silent man from yesterday lingers at the edges, testing the shadows. Quite the menagerie, Derek muses. Brute force, stealth, brains, and old money all wrapped up in neat little packages. You think wealth will help, Edmund? Money always helps. Ryder smirks. So if you're the wise guy, what am I? The pretty one, obviously. Before Ryder can respond, movement catches his eye. Kate steps from the mansion, dawn painting gold across her skin. She walks past without a glance, but his gaze follows the sway of her hips. You might want to stop staring at the competition's ass, Derek drawls, ruining his own advice by doing exactly that. Ryder's growl surprises even himself. Derek holds up his hands. Relax, just admiring. You know her, right? What's her strength? All of them, Ryder answers before he can stop himself. 2 more alphas join their group as Jensen steps onto the mansion steps, commanding silence. 5 eliminated last night, Derek whispers, smirking. Idiots couldn't keep it in their pants. You almost made that list, Ryder reminds him. If I hadn't pulled you off that blonde? And eternally grateful I am. Derek claps his shoulder. My hero! Jensen's voice carries over the grounds. Today's trial will be judged by myself, my daughter Bianca. She steps forward, radiant in the morning light. And her intended Silas. Ryder's fingers twitch. He still hasn't asked Bianca about her letter, why she summoned him back after all this time. How fitting, Edmund says smugly, to have someone of such noble blood overseeing this tradition. Silas smiles, sweeping the crowd with practiced warmth. We aim to ensure these trials remain fair and honorable. His expression sharpens. Which is why we've agreed. No witnesses. What happens in the trials stays in the trials. Murmurs of approval ripple through the group. Even Ryder has to admit it makes sense. But then, Kate stands rigid, eyes fixed on Silas with something like fury or fear. Ryder frowns. What did she see? The rules are simple, Jensen continues. Race to the finish line. Last to arrive is eliminated. His smile turns grim. If you arrive. Torches flare behind him, revealing what the darkness had hidden. A massive labyrinth, its towering walls writhing with nightshade, Jensen confirms, in case anyone considered taking shortcuts. Derek inhales sharply. Ryder understands. Nightshade is lethal to their kind, handled with extreme caution. His eyes find Kate's. For a moment, they're 13 again, his fingers sticky with purple juice as she screamed at him to spit it out. She jerks away like the memory burns. Are we allowed to shift? Felix asks. Jensen nods. Each entrance leads to the same center. Take your positions. Ryder steadies his breathing. Wolf form would be faster. Human mind thinks clearer. 3. Kate stands 3 entrances down, coiled like a spring. 2. Focus. Don't finish last. Find Derek if possible. 1. Wolf or human. Wolf or... Go! Ryder launches forward, shifting mid-leap. A chorus of howls splits the air. Overhead, a screech. He looks up. An eagle soars above the maze, unimpeded by the toxic walls. Since when could one of them? No time. The labyrinth beckons, and Ryder runs. The first corridor stretches ahead, nightshade casting eerie purple shadows. Overhead, the eagle's cry echoes forward. But he can't spare a thought on who's playing bird. A circular chamber opens before him, corridors branching like spokes. He hesitates. Which way? A familiar silver wolf bursts in. Kate. He'd know her anywhere, from the way she stands, the sharpness in her gaze. Their eyes lock for a heartbeat. Then she's gone, vanishing down a path without hesitation. Divide and conquer. Ryder forces himself to move. Kate isn't his concern. Not yet. He needs to find Derek. Track him. Strategize. Catching a faint trail of Derek's scent, he bolts through twisting corridors. The sun climbs higher, scorching his fur. Dead end. Another. How many have already found the exit? He's running blind. Wait. Movement ahead. A brown wolf, Derek shifts mid-stride, breath ragged. Took you long enough, he pants. This place is a damn trap, Ryder growls. They exchange a quick plan. Mark your path, Derek says. And remember, don't be last. He vanishes into the vines. Ryder runs, frustration mounting. Every wrong turn grates on him. He keeps stumbling upon Derek's markers, but no exit. Then, realization. Jensen, Bianca, and Silas are at the finish line. They're the ones he should be tracking. Idiot. He knows how Jensen thinks, how he evaluates wolves. This isn't just a race, it's a tracking challenge. And he's wasted time figuring it out. Ryder lifts his muzzle. There. Faint traces of Bianca's perfume. Jensen's alpha musk. He moves faster, now confident. The voices grow clearer with each turn. Jensen discussing something with Silas, Bianca's laughter. Close. Too close. Then the wolf attacks. Massive, gray, fangs flashing. He lunges from a hidden alcove. Ryder leaps back, snarling. A second wolf strikes from behind. Magnus? Edmund? Doesn't matter. Claws rake his flank. He counters, but they're circling, driving him toward the nightshade walls. They expect him to flinch. His mother's training might finally be useful. He lets them push him closer, feigning retreat. Then he whirls, using the wall as leverage to launch himself at the bigger wolf. They scramble, instinctively avoiding the nightshade, slamming into each other instead. Ryder strikes, Jaws clamp down. The second wolf shifts back, revealing one of the lesser alphas. Ryder pins him, claws pressing into flesh. "Why attack me?" His voice is gravelly as he shifts. "Fuck you." The man chokes as Ryder applies pressure. Wrong answer. His eyes flash gold. Try again. "Kate," the alpha gasps. "Said to make sure you didn't finish. Promised a reward if we took you out." Ryder's blood turns to ice. "Why would Kate—" The words die in his throat. Of course. She doesn't want him here. A howl echoes behind them. Back up? No time. Ryder shifts and runs, lungs burning, wounds stinging. 30 seconds! Jensen's voice rings out. Ryder pushes harder. Another turn. A marker. 15 seconds. There. Sunlight ahead. 10, 9, 8. His lungs scream. His legs ache. But he won't fail. Not now. 4, 3. With one last burst of speed, he launches through the exit. 2. He lands panting in the clearing. Derek grins. Edmund sneers. Kate's face drains of color when she sees him. Good. Let her see what her handiwork looks like.
Chapter 9. Kate's muscles ache from yesterday's race as she follows the guard down the familiar path. Second place wasn't bad, but Felix had been the real surprise. "A bird shifter," she mutters. "Just perfect. I stand to marry a teenage bird." Her thoughts darken at the memory of Ryder crossing the finish line seconds before disqualification. The look he'd given her, fresh and sharp, like a knife to the back. The meeting room doors loom ahead, and the moment she enters, Ryder's scent hits her. 7 contestants remain. Derek lounges near Ryder, Magnus takes up a corner, Felix perches, there's no other word for it, on a windowsill. Nathaniel, the dark-haired man with the scar, inclines his head in greeting just as Jensen arrives, flanked by Silas and Bianca. "Blindfolds," Jensen announces. "No peeking." Darkness swallows Kate's vision. The familiar disorientation of being led somewhere unsettles her, until a scent hits her. Old paper, leather, dust. Barely swallows a gasp. The library stands exactly as she remembers. 3 stories of dark wood, spiraling wrought iron staircases, a domed glass ceiling. Jensen's voice cuts through murmurs. 3 keys are hidden here. Find them and you advance. Fail and you leave. You have until noon. Magnus frowns. "Only one of us makes it?" Felix sighs. 3 keys each, genius. Jensen nods, producing a parchment. "In shadows deep where wisdom sleeps, find 3 keys to freedom's door. First in healing's ancient keep, second where dead tongues soar, third where stars align with lore." "Can we interfere with each other?" Edmund asks, eyes gleaming. Jensen turns away, leaving the question unanswered, which means yes. Kate should start searching, but for the first time in 6 years, she has free reign of her father's library. Normally, Silas's men would trail her, but right now... Her mind races. The healing section has to be on the first floor, Derek calls. "Unless it's a trick," Edmund mutters. Kate barely hears them. 6 hours. The magic section is 10 minutes away. If she doesn't take this chance, 1 hour. She can spare 1 hour. Slipping between towering shelves, she weaves past history, biography, sciences. The magic section appears exactly as she remembers, a circular chamber tucked away like a guilty secret. Thousands of books stare back at her. "Damn it, Silas," she mutters, scanning the spines. "I'll figure you out, just wait." She pulls books at random, potions and their properties, a complete guide to curses. Nothing on mass enchantment. A compliance potion catches her eye, but it's temporary, only affecting those who drink it. Not nearly enough to explain how Silas has bewitched an entire pack for years. Then finally, a black tome with red binding, demonic arts and dark magics. Her hands shake as she opens it. Would make sense if he was a demon, she mutters. I sure hope you don't mean me. The book nearly slips from her hands. Ryder blocks the doorway. Kate scowls. Not everything is about you, Ryder. He snatches the tome from her. Isn't it? Then why did you try to get me kicked out? The blood on his fur yesterday. The 2 eliminated alphas. Silas's work, no doubt. Kate clenches her fists. So you're not even denying it? Ryder's scent turns bitter. She wants to smooth away that wounded look, to kiss him, to shake him. So now when people accuse me, you just believe them? The words tear from her throat. Why would they lie? Maybe because they want competitors to hate me enough to quit? His jaw tightens. So you didn't send them? She shakes her head. I can't believe you'd even ask me that. You know I'd never hurt you. But you did hurt me. Ryder's voice is quiet, but it cuts deeper than a shout. Kate turns away. This conversation is going nowhere. You're not solving the riddle here. Go. Ryder hesitates. Why are you here? His voice softens. For a moment, he looks at her like he used to. Like she matters. If only he could hear her. 6 years ago, she had chased after him after their fight. Found him drunk at a bar, barely coherent. And then Silas had appeared. Poor Ryder, he'd said, his smirk cruel. He's heartbroken over our betrothal. There is no betrothal, Kate had snapped. Everyone thinks we're a done deal, Kate. At some point, you'll be mine. Ryder understands that, so don't bother contradicting him when he sobers up. And then, Silas had placed a hand on Ryder's neck. Otherwise, I'll end him. Kate had gaped too long before finding words. As if you could take him. Perhaps not. But if he doesn't expect it? He trusts me, you know. He's been confiding in me all night. He thinks he's unworthy of you. Really wasn't that hard to convince him you thought the same. The next morning, Ryder had been gone. And Kate had let him go, because the alternative was worse. Now, in the dim library, that same helplessness crushes her chest. Tell me, Ryder insists. What are you looking for? What's going on with you? You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Try me. I have been trying. The words burst out of her, raw and desperate. I tried and it didn't work. You're not making any sense, Ryder complains. Kate feels like crying again. Please just go, she says. You're only wasting my time. And yours. Ryder's expression crumbles before his footsteps fade into silence, leaving Kate alone with her rage and the musty books. She takes in a breath. Time to read again. Her fingers tremble as she turns the pages of the demon tome, then freezes. Through careful pacts, certain humans have been known to harness demonic power for their own use. These individuals can access the demon's magic at will, for a price. Kate's breath catches. A pact. Is that what Silas had done? But if so, how to break demon magic? The clock's chime makes her jump. 9 already. She tears the relevant pages out, grabbing a few more from a second book. She'll have to study them later, somewhere safer. Now onto the riddle. What was the damn riddle? Something about wisdom and stars? Looking for something? Kate spins around. Nathaniel stands in the doorway, a leather-bound book tucked under his arm. His scar seems deeper in the shadows. Any chance you could remind me of that stupid riddle? She asks him. His lip quirks. Well then, that wouldn't be very smart of me, would it? Kate's claws extend. She doesn't have time for games. Nathaniel chuckles, holding up his hands. 3 keys, he says. First in healing's keep, second where dead tongues soar. The third where stars align, Kate finishes. And I happen to know where the first one will be. Nathaniel tells her. Medical section, obviously. Hidden behind the portrait of Hippocrates. Kate shakes her head. No, that seems wrong. Not how her father would think. It's in the herbology texts, she says. The ancient healing arts were all plant-based. Nathaniel's eyes narrow. You sound certain. I practically grew up here. Kate glances at the clock again. Look, you helped me with the riddle. I'll help you find your first key. Lead the way, he says, gesturing toward the door. Kate leads Nathaniel through the winding shelves, past rows of ancient medical texts. There, she whispers, pointing to a section where herbs hang dried between the pages of centuries-old books. The healing arts were all about... A shadow passes overhead. They both freeze as Felix glides past their aisle, his wings barely clearing the shelves. Plant-based medicine, she continues once he's gone, running her fingers along the spines. The ancient healers believed every cure could be found in nature. Nathaniel watches her with quiet intensity. You really did grow up here. My mother used to... Kate starts, then stiffens. Magnus's frustrated growl echoes through the library, followed by the sound of books hitting the floor. They work in silence after that, checking hollow books and loose bricks until Kate's fingers catch on something behind an old volume of medicinal flora. 2 keys, small and bronze, with intricate leaf patterns along their shaft. Looks like they're the last left. We make a good team, Nathaniel says as she holds it up to the light. His scarred face breaks into an unexpected smile. Alliance? Kate hesitates, studying him. Why would you want to ally with me? Because you seem to be playing a different game entirely. His eyes flick to the torn pages peeking from her pocket. Second, where dead tongues soar, Nathaniel recites, following Kate through the western wing. Dead tongues must mean dead languages. Then that would be the 3rd floor, Kate says, taking the stairs 2 at a time. They emerge into a circular room where leather-bound volumes line the walls from floor to ceiling. At the center stands a massive reading desk, its surface carved with intricate symbols. Look at these markings. Nathaniel runs his fingers over the desk's edge. They match the spines of those books. He points to a shelf of particularly old texts. Kate nods. It's a classification system. Each symbol represents a different ancient culture. See how they spiral outward? The oldest languages are closest to the center. They split up, Kate taking the inner shelves. The silence is heavy, broken only by the soft sound of books being moved and replaced. Kate. Nathaniel's voice is sharp. Something's wrong. She turns to find him kneeling by a bottom shelf, examining scattered papers and fallen books. Kate moves to the section Nathaniel indicated, where books bound in scripts she doesn't recognize lie in disarray. Empty spaces gap between volumes like missing teeth. All the keys are gone. Impossible, Kate mutters, but then catches it, the scent of pine and rain. Her heart skips. Ryder. He's angry with me. He must have taken the keys. Nathaniel surveys the mess with a frown. We track them. Kate's already scanning the floor. They're headed up. They follow the scents up the spiraling staircase to the astronomy tower, where a glass dome crowns the ceiling and painted constellations glitter on dark walls. Derek lounges against a celestial globe, tossing a key between his hands with calculated nonchalance. Took you long enough. You're better than this, Nathaniel says, and there's history in his voice. Derek's laugh is hollow. Am I? It's just good strategy. You two had the last keys anyway. The others are probably already finishing. But Kate barely registers their exchange. She's locked eyes with Ryder, who stands by the window, backlit by morning sun. The hurt in his gaze is raw, unguarded. Is this because you think I'd try to get you eliminated? The words slip out before she can stop them. Number 1. He runs a hand through his hair, a gesture so achingly familiar it hurts. Just trying to help Derek win, nothing personal. Nothing personal? Kate repeats, her voice screeching. Look, we can settle this easily. Derek cuts in, his tactical mind clearly at work. We give you back your keys, but we get head start to the finish line. Kate takes in Ryder's expression, closed of and hurt. She can't tell him the truth, but perhaps she can work to earn back his trust. Fine, she decides, meeting his eyes. Deal. Surprise flickers across Ryder's face at her quick agreement, but there's no time. They descend together, an awkward quartet, just in time to see Magnus storming out the library's main doors. Derek goes first, then Ryder, who drops the keys behind him without looking back, though his hesitation speaks volumes. Kate and Nathaniel stand in the entrance hall, 3 keys each gleaming in their palms. The choice hangs heavy between them. Go, Nathaniel says quietly. I'm withdrawing. Kate stares at him. Why would you? Because winning means mating with you. A startled laugh escapes her. Am I that terrible? Number 1. His smile is gentle, knowing, but I won't mate with a woman who's clearly in love with another man. I'm not in love with Ryder, she says automatically. His eyes crinkle. I never mentioned his name. Heat floods her cheeks as the clock begins to chime. Go, he says, before time runs out. She runs, making it through the doors just as the final bell tolls.
Chapter 10. Ryder paces the length of the waiting chamber, each step echoing off stone walls that feel closer with every pass. The massive oak doors ahead remain sealed, concealing whatever fresh hell Jensen has devised for the 5th trial. His wolf prowls restlessly beneath his skin, setting his nerves on edge. You know, Derek drawls, wearing a hole in the floor won't make those doors open any faster. Ryder grunts, not breaking stride. 4 contenders left, Derek continues, his voice carefully casual. Amongst which us. We've actually got a real shot at this now. He pauses, testing the waters. Assuming you're still committed to our arrangement. Of course I am. The response comes automatically, but something in Ryder's chest twinges. Good. The Winter Pack's resources could change everything for you. No more being looked down on by old blood. Ryder's jaw clenches. I know what's at stake. Do you? Derek's tone stays light, but there's steel underneath. Because lately you seem distracted. I'm focused, Ryder snaps. Though his mind spins with fragments of the past 2 trials, each memory cutting deeper than the last. Trial 3, 2 days ago, hadn't been that bad. They'd been thrown into an arena, the sand already stained with sweat and blood. The task had been simple. Fight and stay conscious until the bell. They'd circled each other like predators. Magnus rolling his shoulders, Felix on the defensive, Edmund smirking at Ryder. I've been waiting for this, Edmund had drawled. Time to put the half-breed in his place. Ryder's wolf had surged forward, answering with a low growl that vibrated through the sand. Really? Derek had cut in, unimpressed. Are we wasting energy fighting each other like idiots? They'd all turned to him. Think about it, Derek had continued. We only need to take out one person. Why not work together, finish this fast, then grab a drink? Edmund had sneered. Excellent point. I vote we take out the half-breed. Oh, for crying out loud, Kate had snapped. If anyone needs taking down, it's you. Magnus had hesitated. I don't know. The pureblood has a point. The pureblood, Kate had cut in, has spent this whole competition mocking us. Magnus, he called your shifting primitive yesterday. Magnus's head had snapped toward Edmund. And Felix, Kate had added. He said your family bought their way into pack hierarchy. Felix's usual cheer had vanished. Later, as healers dragged Edmund's unconscious form away, Ryder had caught Kate watching him with an unreadable expression. She'd defended him, and in the second trial, she'd let him get away with taking her key. Why? He'd wanted to shake answers out of her, but instead, he'd walked away, her defense burning in his chest like whiskey. Then came trial 4. "This artifact amplifies aggression," Jensen had said, placing a pulsing red crystal in the center of the circular room. "Your task, do not shift for 6 hours. Good luck." For a second, Ryder had felt confident. Then the crystal had activated. It hit immediately, the maddening buzz under their skin, their wolves clawing to break free. The room had grown thick with tension, the air electric. Sweat had beaded on Kate's collarbone, drawing Ryder's gaze like a magnet. She'd stationed herself far from him, yet he felt every breath, every twitch. She kept biting her lower lip raw. His wolf had stirred, wanting to chase that hint of blood with his tongue. "Keep it in your pants, lover boy," Derek had muttered, hands trembling with restraint. But Ryder had barely heard him. The crystal stripped away everything but instinct, and suddenly all he could think about was Kate. Then she'd met his eyes, pupils blown wide with the same desperate hunger. A soft sound, half growl, half whimper, escaped her throat, and his control had nearly snapped. "Just say it," he'd demanded, stalking toward her. "Whatever you're holding back, Kate. Just say it." "I can't," she'd whispered, her voice barely audible over their ragged breathing. Her tongue had flicked out to wet her lips. His wolf had howled. "For fuck's sake, just kiss already." Felix had groaned from the background. The crystal had pulsed harder. Derek's shoulders had tightened. Magnus had started growling, his eyes flickering gold. "Can't or won't," Ryder had rasped, stepping closer. God, she'd smelled so good. "Both." Her voice had cracked. She'd pressed her palms against her eyes, chest rising and falling too fast. "God, I miss you so much it hurts." The confession had hit him like a blow. He'd stepped forward, the need to touch her overwhelming. Then a strangled gasp had shattered the moment. "No, no, no," Felix had muttered, his usual composure fracturing. His form had flickered between human and bird. "I can handle this. I can—" Too late. With a screech that made them all wince, Felix had lost the battle. He'd taken panicked flight around the chamber, dive-bombing overhead. They'd all scrambled away as he whipped past, Ryder catching one last breath of Kate's scent. Wild, wanting, his. Before Jensen and Silas had burst in to restore order. Now, waiting for the 5th trial, Ryder's thoughts spiral. Every interaction with Kate leaves him more confused. She defends him one moment, runs the next, says she misses him, yet refuses to explain why she broke it off in the first place. The oak doors creak open. "They're ready for you, Alpha Ryder," a guard announces. Derek's hand lands on Ryder's shoulder, grip just tight enough to feel like a warning. "Remember what we discussed. Eyes on the prize." Ryder shrugs him off, striding toward the doors. The prize. Right. Except when he tries to picture victory, all he sees is Kate. The oak doors open to reveal a sunroom that seems plucked from a fairy tale. Morning light streams through arched windows, casting golden patterns across a delicate tea service. Ryder. He barely has time to register Bianca rising from the table before she's launching herself into his arms. "It's so good to see you," she exclaims. Jensen clears his throat, attempting to look stern and official. "The 5th trial will test your suitability as a mate. You must convince my daughter Bianca that you would be—" He breaks off, his composure cracking. "My boy, you've done so well for yourself. Did you hear about how he started his own pack, Bianca? Brilliant tactical thinking, just like I taught him." "Daddy." Bianca's eye roll is audible. "This is supposed to be my trial." Right. Jensen straightens, then immediately ruins it by clasping Ryder's shoulder. "But he really is doing remarkably well, isn't he?" "Door," Bianca points firmly. "Going." Jensen backs away, still beaming. Bianca shakes her head fondly before taking Ryder's hand and pulling him to the table. "Sit." You look like you're about to face execution instead of having tea with your favorite sister. Ryder settles into the dainty chair. This is the trial? Mm-hmm. She pours tea with practiced grace. The goal is to convince me you're good enough for Kate. Though honestly, her eyes twinkle. You passed years ago. Scone? Wait. He frowns. Does Kate have to prove she's good enough for Kate? Bianca's expression turns serious. Actually, she has to prove she's better off mateless, though obviously she already passed. I'd never force her into anything she doesn't want. She brightens. You've been amazing in the trials, by the way. We're overjoyed you came home to compete. I didn't come back to compete, Bianca. Ryder shifts uncomfortably. I only came because of your letter. Because you asked me to. I was worried about you. Bianca takes his hand, her smile gentle. And I'm worried about Kate. She tells him. You know how she is. She doesn't like to look vulnerable. But she hasn't been doing well, Ryder. She misses you. Something in Ryder's chest cracks. Did she actually say that? He asks. Bianca snorts. Of course not. But I'm not blind. She's been refusing mates for years. She leans forward conspiratorially. Everyone thinks it's because of Silas, but please, I know my sister. She was waiting for you. Bianca, Ryder begins, throat tight. I don't think you've got the full picture here. Kate is the one who ended things. She wouldn't do that. Bianca's expression clouds. Well, she did. Ryder grunts more bitterly than he'd like. She still loves you, though, Bianca says softly. Kate has loved you since you two were children. You mean when she was always picking fights or trying to trip me? Ryder deadpans. Yes, Bianca exclaims, eyes sparkling. That's her love language. Ryder rolls his eyes. Well, maybe her love has died, Bianca. The blonde shakes her head. Come on, Ryder. When Kate loves something, it's for life. You know that. Remember when she refused to eat anything but pancakes for a whole year? She was stubborn that way, Ryder says softly. Was? Bianca arches an eyebrow. Is. And lately, she bites her lip. I think something's wrong. She's keeping secrets, but I don't know what kind. Ryder thinks of Kate's cryptic words in the trials, her pain-filled eyes, and this book she'd wasted time reading during the second trial. Demonic arts. Why was she wasting time researching black magic? It didn't make any sense. See? Bianca says, catching his expression. You think so too. Ryder sighs. Well, whatever it is, she won't talk to me. I tried asking, but... Then try again, Bianca snaps. After Mom died, she was so withdrawn. You were the only one who could get through to her. She squeezes his hand. That's why I wrote to you. I think she needs you. Whatever's hurting her, you're the only one who might get her to open up. Something cold and uncomfortable settles on Ryder's chest. Had he gotten it wrong? Had he made a mistake leaving when he should have been fighting for Kate? But how long was he expected to pull when she kept pushing him away? When they'd been young, it had taken years for Kate to open up and let go of her defenses. He remembers being so fed up with it all. He'd grabbed onto Nightshade during one of their trips and threatened to take it if she didn't finally admit they were friends. Kate had called his bluff, and then... He remembers her piercing scream and tears after he'd swallowed the Nightshade, her face white as sheet and trembling hands. Bianca, he murmurs, avoiding her gaze. I didn't come back for Kate. I only agreed to compete in these trials because of Derek, to help him win. He promised my pack resources and I just... Bianca squeezes his hand. And is that still why you're here? She asks softly. Her knowing smile makes him squirm. And if it was, he challenges, would you fail me? Keeping quiet, Bianca searches his gaze. I'd deserve it. Ryder murmurs. In fact, you really should fail me. The silence stretches, Bianca's gaze unwavering. Then, a small amused smile stretches her lips. "Nah." She waves dismissively. "I'm failing Magnus. He came in here spouting nonsense about women being too emotional to run trials. Can you imagine him with Kate? She'd remove his favorite parts within a week." A startled laugh escapes Ryder. "I'm rooting for you, Ryder." Her eyes soften. "I can tell you make my sister happy. I hope you realize it too."
Chapter 11. You're being ridiculous. Bianca's words echo in Kate's mind as she follows the guards down the torchlit corridor. Ryder came back for you. Why else would he be here? Kate's wolf paces restlessly beneath her skin, agitated by her sister's well-meaning but impossible suggestions. If only Bianca knew. If only Kate could tell her that, yes, of course she wants Ryder back so badly it physically hurts. But that having him means condemning Bianca to Silas. Her eyes drift to Ryder's broad shoulders ahead of her. Even now, after everything, just looking at him makes her chest ache. He still loves you, Bianca had insisted. Anyone with eyes can see it. Anyone with eyes clearly needs their vision checked. Kate's seen how Ryder looks at her now, cold, angry, betrayed. Get it together, she scolds herself. She has a pack to win, a sister to protect. She can't afford to moon over Ryder like some love-sick teenager, especially when he's made it clear he's only here to help Derek claim her territory. The guards stop before a set of heavy iron doors. Kate squares her shoulders, forcing thoughts of Ryder aside. Whatever this sixth trial brings, she needs to focus. She needs to win. Her father appears, expression unreadable, and Kate's wolf bristles. "The sixth trial," he intones, "will test your—" He pushes the doors open with unusual haste, and Kate's prepared retort dies in her throat. Instead of another arena or deadly challenge, a cozy dining room awaits them. The table gleams with silver and crystal, steaming dishes sending mouth-watering aromas into the air. A fire crackles in an ornate hearth, its warmth beckoning like an embrace. Her wolf's hackles rise immediately. After years of Silas's manipulations, Kate knows better than to trust anything that seems too perfect. "Sit, eat," her father commands, gesturing to the clock above the mantel. When it strikes 12, leave the room. Last one out is eliminated. He backs away with strange urgency, pulling the doors closed behind him. The three of them stand frozen, assessing. "This has to be a trap," Ryder says, circling the table with careful steps. His fingers trail over a chair back, testing for triggers or spells. "Maybe the room's an illusion?" Kate suggests, though the fire's warmth feels real enough on her skin. It's a soft, languid warmth, real, but not scorching. Perfect. Derek prowls the perimeter, examining the walls. Hidden doors? Secret passages? Kate lifts a silver cover, sniffing at a perfectly roasted duck. Could be poison, she muses, though the aroma makes her mouth water. "Nightshade's odorless," Ryder points out. Kate sends him a warning look, worried he might offer to taste it for them. Her chest tightens at the memory of him drinking the poison in their youth, of her panic when she thought she'd lost him. There has to be more to it. Derek completes his circuit of the room. Maybe we need to solve a riddle? Find a key hidden in the food? Or maybe... Ryder's voice trails off as he sinks into a chair. Maybe we just... wait? She catches him watching her, his expression unreadable. After a moment's hesitation, both she and Derek join him at the table, though none of them touch the food. Minutes tick by, marked only by the fire's gentle pops and sparks. Kate finds her gaze drawn to the flames, their dance hypnotic and soothing. Focus, she tries to tell herself. Well, Derek says finally, breaking the silence. If we're meant to eat? He spears a roasted potato, examining it before taking a bite. Kate watches him intently, searching for signs of distress. Her wolf has gone oddly quiet, lulled by the room's warmth. His eyebrows shoot up. It's good. They use truffle oil. Something shifts in the air, subtle but unmistakable. Kate finds herself reaching for a piece of duck, the aroma too tempting to resist. The meat melts on her tongue, and she can't remember the last time food tasted this good. When was the last time she'd actually enjoyed a meal? These days, she's always too worried about Silas, about Bianca. Maybe that's the test, she hears herself suggest. Seeing if we can resist fighting over the food? Ryder says something about rushing out when the clock strikes, but Kate's attention catches on the way firelight plays across his jaw. We've got hours yet, Derek points out, already reaching for more potatoes. Might as well enjoy it. Kate hums in agreement, surprised to find herself smiling. Has Ryder always been this handsome? She remembers being angry with him, but she can't quite recall why. Everything feels soft around the edges. Wine appears in her glass. Had she poured it? And she takes a sip. It's nice, she murmurs, watching Ryder over the rim of her glass. His eyes meet hers, and the usual coldness is gone, replaced by something warm and familiar that makes her heart flutter. Everything's nice, Derek agrees dreamily, his usual sharp edges softening. A distant part of her mind whispers that something's wrong. She has responsibilities, doesn't she? Something important about Bianca, about the pack. But the thoughts feel heavy, slipping away like honey dripping from a spoon. Besides, Ryder is smiling at her now. Actually smiling, like he used to. The sight makes her chest expand with joy so intense it brings tears to her eyes. When was the last time she felt this unburdened, this free? The fire crackles, casting everything in liquid gold, and Kate lets herself sink deeper into the warmth. Into this perfect moment where she doesn't have to be strong or careful or afraid, where Ryder looks at her like she's something precious again. The clock ticks on, unnoticed.
Chapter 12. The wine flows like a river, endless and sweet, though Ryder can't quite remember who keeps filling their glasses. He's not even sure how full his own glass is. It's simply there, glinting in the firelight. Kate's laugh dances through the air. Her chair is nearly touching his now. Not that Ryder minds. So, what's the story between you two? Derek drawls. Were you together before? The question should hurt. Ryder knows this somewhere deep in his bones. But instead, he finds himself smiling, the edges of the memory indistinct. Kate used to torment me, he drawls. Was making out with me really such a torment? Kate's head tilts back, exposing the graceful line of her throat, and Ryder's gaze catches on the firelight dancing over her skin. In a way, he confesses, because it always left him yearning for more. Kate's eyes catch his, and for a moment, they hold each other in that shared memory. Why'd you break up? Derek's voice breaks through the haze. Ryder frowns, the weight of the question sinking into him. I don't remember, he murmurs, the words heavy on his lips. He should remember. He should. The memory stirs faintly, the edges sharp and painful. It was raining, he mumbles. You were crying? Or... no, that's not. His head lolls back against the chair, and he sighs, the fire crackling louder, wrapping him in warmth. Why is he even thinking about this? Everything is so wonderful right now, so soft and easy. I think I'm drunk, Ryder confesses, his voice low and rough. A lazy chuckle escapes him, too loud in the stillness. Me too, Derek mutters. Same, Kate breathes. The firelight turns everything golden, like the soft curve of Kate's smile or the gleam in her eye, the way her hand suddenly rests on his arm. Her touch sends ripples of heat across his skin, and Ryder closes his eyes briefly, savoring the spark. Do you remember that night in the tower? He slurs, the memory thick and slow in his mind. You told me you loved me. Kate's voice is a whisper. His eyes snap open. Come here, Ryder murmurs, his voice rougher now, deep and commanding. He pats his thigh, the gesture instinctual, primal. He needs her to obey, needs her closer. She moves like a dancer beneath water, graceful and hypnotic. When she finally settles on his lap, her warmth seeps into him, her weight fitting perfectly against him, and then she moves, and... A sound escapes him, low and guttural, unbidden and unashamed. Somewhere, he hears Derek groan and shift, but the noise is distant, irrelevant. All that matters is Kate. Her hands are on his chest and he feels his body respond instantly, a low heat curling in his stomach. Comfortable? He teases. Kate leans into him. I've had better chairs. Liar, he murmurs, smirking. Their lips meet like the softest collision, melting together in slow, languid waves. Kate tastes like wine and something sweeter, something that sinks into his veins. A small, perfect sigh escapes her lips, scattering his thoughts. Stay. Ryder breathes against her lips, though he doesn't know why she'd leave. The kiss deepens, their mouths moving in an unhurried rhythm. Somewhere in the distance, a clock ticks. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters but this. Kate's weight in his lap, her soft sighs against his mouth, the way she moves against him. It's better than any dream. Somewhere, someone makes a pained sound. The scent of blood drifts through the golden haze, but Kate's fingers are in his hair and... Someone clears their throat. Once. Twice. Then suddenly Kate's warmth disappears as Derek lifts her bodily off his lap. Excuse me, please, my lady. Derek deposits her carefully on the table like he's handling a particularly clumsy kitten. Ryder bursts out laughing, until he is hauled onto his feet by Derek, gripped tight enough to bruise. Ryder? A word. Ryder staggers after him, still chuckling. Listen to me. Derek grabs his shoulders. The clock's about to strike, so we need to get out. He glances at Kate, who's now peeling a clementine with expression of pure wonder. I was going to say without her noticing, but I guess we're covered on that front. Ryder's thoughts feel like they're moving through honey. Get out where? He smiles. Out of here. This room. This is the trial. The room is rigged. Another laugh bubbles up Ryder's throat. What? Enchanted, cursed, I don't know. This room is evil, Ryder. Derek actually shakes him, which just sets off another round of chuckles. Oh, for fuck's sake. Hold on. Derek disappears, leaving Ryder swaying on his feet. He returns brandishing a large silver serving fork. Sorry about this, buddy. Sorry about what? The fork plunges into his thigh and Ryder screams, but then pain shoots through him, sharp and clarifying. What is happening? He looks around the room, the golden haze dissolving like mist in sunlight. Hours lost to wine and laughter and... Oh God, he'd kissed Kate. They'd been kissing. Wait a minute. He grabs Derek by the throat, making him yelp. Were you just sitting there watching me kiss my mate like some perv? He growls. First of all, she ain't your mate yet. Derek doesn't resist the grip. Second, you two were the ones making out like teenagers, though I should thank you. The awkwardness helped snap me out of it. He holds up his bleeding arm. Stabbed myself when I realized something was wrong. I mean, look. They both turn to Kate, who's staring at the chandelier. It's just so beautiful, she whispers reverently. Ryder curses. They'd all been drugged or spelled or... Shit, would Kate even have kissed him if not for... The clock chimes again. That's our cue. Let's go. Derek tugs at Ryder's arm, but his gaze is fixed on Kate, who's humming softly to herself like she used to as a child. What about her? He asks. Her father will get her once we're out. Derek pulls harder. Come on. Something cold settles in Ryder's chest. If they leave now, if they take Kate's pack, The thought of forcing her to mate with Derek now makes him physically ill. I can't, he admits, lowering his head. Derek freezes. What? It's her pack, Ryder explains. She said from the start she doesn't want a mate, that she wants to lead alone. Are you serious? Derek's voice rises with disbelief. We've spent 10 days fighting through these trials and now you develop a conscience? Ryder shakes his head helplessly. It just doesn't feel right. Oh, come on. Derek's arms cross over his chest. Give me one good reason. What? Ryder asks. One good reason I should let her take my place. Go on. It's her pack, Ryder repeats weakly. Wrong. Derek shoves past him, lunging for the door. Ryder moves without thinking, catching him around the waist. They crash to the floor in a tangle of limbs and snarls. For fuck's sake, Derek, let it go! Ryder grunts as they roll across the carpet. You let it go. Derek lands a solid punch to his ribs. Just admit it. Say you still love her. The words hit harder than the punch. Ryder's guard drops for just a moment, but it's enough. Derek pins him, fist raised. It's her pack, Ryder says stubbornly, though the fight's gone out of him. I can't let you take it from her. And why not? Derek demands. Fine. The words tear from Ryder's throat. Because I love her. There. Happy? His eyes find Kate again, and his voice softens. I still love her, and I don't want to take anything away from her. And? Derek presses, not letting up. And I want her back. The confession feels like removing a splinter from his heart. Derek groans, gaze a mix of anger, disappointment, and pity. Jesus, man. Would have been nice if you told me that from the start. Yeah, well. Ryder rubs his jaw sheepishly. In my defense, I wasn't going to participate at all. He meets his friend's eyes. Sorry. At least it was good drama. Derek heaves himself into a chair, grabbing the nearest wine bottle. You go on then. He waves vaguely toward Kate. Take your girl and go. He takes a long pull from the bottle, then adds, Though, do remind someone to collect me eventually. Ryder snorts, but his attention is already back on Kate. He hurries to her, touching her shoulder gently. Time to go, princess. Go? She blinks up at him. Why would we go anywhere? He tries to help her stand, but she resists, curling further into her chair. I want to stay here with you. Her fingers trace his cheek. Everything's perfect here. From behind them, Derek groans. I swear it's like they actually want me to win. I'm sorry, Ryder whispers, and before Kate can protest, he drives a small knife into her thigh. She yelps, the sound piercing his heart. But awareness floods her eyes like water washing away gold dust. She looks around in confusion, then at him with dawning horror. Hi. He manages a weak grin. Welcome back. Kate just stares, shock written across her features. Let's go. His voice is gentle but firm. You have a pack to win, remember? He takes her hand, pulling her to her feet. She stumbles, leg buckling, and he catches her against his chest. I don't want to go, she whispers. What are you talking about? Ryder frowns. We have to. I don't want to go. She buries her face in his neck, shoulders shaking. Kate. Panic claws at Ryder's chest. It's going to be okay. You don't know that. Her voice cracks on the words. Yes, I do. He sits her down again, cradling her face in his palms. Because we'll be together. She shakes her head, tears falling. You left. You left me with him. I was all alone. Her words, wounded and betrayed, feel like punch to the gut. What do you mean, Kate? He asks. Who did I leave you with? Her face contorts with frustration. And then, Kate screams. It's a wounded, guttural scream that bursts out of her like a dam. She screams and screams, pounding her fists against his chest, until her screams dissolve into raw, heaving sobs. I'm so tired, Ryder. Her voice comes out small, broken. I can't go back out there, I can't. Kate, sweetheart, look at me, please. Look at me. He waits, rubbing her cheek until her tear-filled eyes meet his. I'm not leaving you alone again. Whatever's out there, we'll face it together. She just shakes her head. You don't mean that. I do mean it. He swears, the words tumbling out, desperate and true. Kate, I won't live without you again. She stares at him, tears still streaming. What? I love you, Ryder murmurs. I've never stopped loving you. I was a fool for leaving, for not fighting harder for you. His voice cracks. But I swear on my life, I'll never make that mistake again. I'll fight for you with everything I have. He cradles her face in his hands. Her eyes are wide and wet. I love you too. She whispers, so softly he almost misses it. His heart stops. Say it again. He breathes. A watery laugh escapes her. You know I don't like to repeat myself. Joy explodes in his chest. He kisses her, her forehead and cheekbones tasting salt and sweetness, then her mouth again. You love me? He asks, laughing against her lips. Bro's so blind I don't know how he gets girls. Derek sighs from his chair. This snaps Ryder out of it. We need to go, he says. He lifts Kate into his arms, carrying her to the door. Go on. I'll be right behind you. Do you promise? She asks, uncertain. I promise I'll be here, darling. Trust me. She goes reluctantly. Ryder turns back to Derek, who's humming contentedly to himself, lost in the room's golden haze. I'm sorry, he says again, meaning it for more than just tonight. Then he follows Kate, determined to honor his promise to her.
Chapter 13. Kate. Kate paces her chambers like a caged animal, the taste of Ryder's kiss still lingering on her lips. He loves her. The memory of his face in that enchanted room, open and vulnerable when he'd confessed. She presses her fingers to her lips, fighting back a smile even as anxiety claws at her throat. Because they're the only two left in the trials now. One of them will win tomorrow, and then what? If Ryder wins, she is screwed. He'd never understand why she needs to banish Silas. And even if she was to win, the second she'd take Ryder as her mate, Silas would have Bianca. Kate would somehow need to convince her father to hand over pack leadership immediately, and even if by some miracle he agreed, she'd be sharing authority with her mate. There's only one real option. She has to win the trials and wait to take control of the pack while still unmated. Only then can she banish Silas with no one to stop her. After that, beg for Ryder's forgiveness? God, the way he'd smiled at her earlier when she told him she loved him back. Like he couldn't quite believe it, just like he'd had trouble believing it when they were younger. My fault, she thinks bitterly. All those years I spent tormenting him instead of admitting how I felt. She can't lose him again, Kate decides. She'll talk to him. She'll convince him to forfeit, to let her have the pack, and to leave for a time, but only for a time, until they can truly be together. It's a terrible plan, but it's the only one she has. Glancing at the window, Kate grimaces. Getting to the guest wing won't be easy. Silas's guards are everywhere. But what's a little midnight parkour compared to losing Ryder forever? She slips out her window with practiced ease, bare feet finding familiar holds in the ancient stone. Moonlight bathes the grounds in silver, and Kate sticks to the shadows, timing her movements between guard rotations. The guest wing looms ahead, its windows dark except for one room where a guard dozes in his chair. Kate counts his breaths, waiting until they even out completely before darting past. Inside, she follows Ryder's scent through hushed corridors, the trail growing stronger with each step, leading her straight to his door. Her heart pounds as she eases it open. The room is awash in moonlight, and there, sprawled across silk sheets, one arm thrown carelessly above his head, is Ryder, features softened in sleep. Her wolf practically purrs at the sight. Mine, something primal in her whispers. His hair is tousled, falling across his forehead in that way that always made her fingers itch to brush it back. "Ryder," she whispers, letting her hand trail down to cup his cheek. He doesn't stir. Smiling, she leans down to press a kiss to his forehead. "Wake up, Ryder." Nothing. Not even a flutter of eyelashes. Her smile drops. "Ryder?" She squeezes his shoulder gently, then less gently. "Ryder, come on." A soft sigh escapes his lips, but his features remain lax, and something cold settles in Kate's stomach. She shakes him harder. His head lolls to the side, utterly limp, but he sleeps on, beautiful and still as death. Panic claws up her throat. "Ryder, please, wake up." She pats his cheeks, desperation building. "It's no use," a voice whispers from the darkness. "He won't hear you." The words seem to drop the temperature in the room by 10 degrees. Kate's spine stiffens as Silas materializes from the shadows. She places herself between him and Ryder's unconscious form, her wolf snarling beneath her skin. "What did you do to him?" Her mind races with possibilities, each worse than the last. "Relax. I only gave him a sedative." Silas laughs. "Well, a lot of sedatives. Like, a lot. Hopefully, he wakes up tomorrow." Kate lunges with a snarl, but Silas dances back, still laughing. "Doesn't this remind you of that night?" He circles them like a shark. "6 years ago, when you wanted to speak to him in that bar, remember? What did I tell you then, Kate?" His expression shifts, angelic features turning somber. "I told you to let him go. Yet what do? The second he shows up, you're making eyes at him." "What do you care?" Kate's voice rises hysterically. "You've been wanting me to mate since you set your eyes on Bianca. Not when that might mean losing this pack." The mask slips completely as Silas snarls, eyes wild with righteous fury. "I worked too hard to lose everything now because of your father's flighty fancies. A trial. Ridiculous." His perfect smile returns so quickly it's unsettling. "And besides, Kate, I told you, it's you I want by my side, not your sister. So I've had a great idea." Kate steps back. "What's that?" "I'll be declaring my love for you tomorrow, before the last trial." His voice turns silky. "Beg your father for a chance to prove myself and participate. You know he'll agree. For some reason, everyone always agrees with me. Haven't you noticed?" He moves closer until she can feel his breath on her face. "And don't you dare try to elope with your half-breed bastard." The words end in a roar as he shoves her aside to approach Ryder's helpless form. Kate lunges forward with a scream. "Don't touch him!" "I warned you." Silas's snarl is all predator. "I warned you to stay away or I'd end him. It wouldn't even be hard." He waves at Ryder's limp body like he's presenting evidence. His hand shoots out, wrapping around her throat. "Tomorrow, I will compete for your hand and win, and you and I will be mates. Or believe me, Kate, I won't just kill Ryder. I'll kill Bianca and your father, and nobody will stop me." His grip tightens. "Are we clear?" Kate meets his manic gaze, refusing to flinch even as spots dance at the edges of her vision. "I said, are we clear, Katrina?" "Yes." She spits the word like poison, her glare promising future violence. "Good." He releases her and she sinks to her knees, gasping. His perfect smile is back in place as he straightens his jacket. "I'll see you at the trials. Enjoy dear Ryder while you still can." He pauses at the door. Tomorrow he goes back to his pack and you never see him again. The door closes with a soft click that sounds like a death knell. Kate sinks to her knees beside Ryder's bed, her mind spinning in useless circles. Is this really it? After everything, will she have to mate with that monster? Let Ryder go? She takes his limp hand in hers, pressing it to her cheek. His skin is warm, alive, and she fights back a sob. If only she'd had more time to find some way to break Silas's curse. She'd do anything for some way to keep Ryder by her side. Rising on shaky legs, Kate moves toward the bathroom in a daze. Maybe if she could splash some water on his face. It's a desperate thought, but she's beyond caring. Her mind races with increasingly impossible hopes as she reaches for the door handle. The door swings open and Kate steps through, a space that's definitely not the bathroom. She's standing in what appears to be an ancient bookshop, though she could have sworn it was the middle of the night moments ago. Now the light of dawn streams through dusty windows. Ryder? Kate turns, but the bedroom has vanished. Through the shop's windows, she sees only an unfamiliar cobbled street, buildings that have no business existing on her father's estate. Towering shelves create a maze around her, books crammed into every available space from floor to ceiling. The air is thick with the scent of old paper and leather, but underneath lies something else. Something wrong. The sound of a gun cocking freezes her in place. "Don't move," a female voice commands from behind her, "or I'll blow your head off." Chapter 14. The gun's muzzle presses cold against Kate's temple, but it's the wild look in the human girl's eyes that makes her freeze. There's something unhinged in that gaze, like someone pushed too far past their limits. Then recognition flickers across the girl's face, followed by exhausted relief. "Oh, I thought you were Jill." "Who?" Kate asks carefully, noting how the gun hasn't lowered. Most shifters can shrug off bullets, but a well-placed shot to the head. "Never mind that." The girl's hands tremble slightly on the weapon. "Who are you?" There's something else, too, a darkness that seems to cling to the edges of the shop, making Kate's wolf bristle uneasily. "Katrina Winters." Kate keeps her voice steady, mind racing. "Look, I'm sorry for startling you. I don't know how I got here. I was just in my bathroom." The girl's shoulders sag, the gun finally lowering like it's become too heavy to hold. "Oh." Her voice cracks slightly, exhaustion and something like tears bleeding through. "You're a client. You're here to make a wish." Kate blinks, that unsettling darkness still prickling at her senses. "Well, now's not a good time." The girl sighs. "Come back. I don't know, next week? A month, ideally?" Kate frowns. The wrongness in the air here, the way shadows seem to writhe at the corners of her vision. It reminds her of passages from the demon tome, how shifters tended to feel dark magic, recoil from it on instinct like they would poison. "Are you a demon?" she asks carefully. The girl startles. "No, I'm just Iris." Something defensive creeps into her stance. If she's not a demon, she's certainly aware of them. "All right, just Iris." Kate takes a cautious step forward. "But there is one here, isn't there?" "No." Iris's response comes too quick, too sharp. Kate's mind races back to the book. Demon pacts granted limitless power, and Iris had mentioned something about wishes. "Why did you assume I was a client?" Iris's gaze darts behind her. She's hiding something. Or someone. "You wouldn't have been transported here if you weren't a potential client," Iris explains, like the words are being dragged out of her. "If you didn't have a wish to make, magic brought me here? Yes?" This time when Iris glances over her shoulder, Kate focuses her enhanced senses. Beyond the door at the back of the shop, she picks up labored breathing that sounds distinctly unwell. "Is there someone here with you?" "Go away." Iris steps back, placing herself between Kate and the door, and something in her protective stance strikes a chord. It's exactly how Kate stood between Silas and Ryder just minutes ago. Kate could walk away, should walk away. But that darkness seems to pulse around the back room like a heartbeat, and her wolf's instincts whisper that this, whatever this is, might be her only chance. She lunges past Iris, shouldering through the door. A man lies sprawled on a worn couch too small for his long legs, black veins spidering beneath his skin and spreading outward from his throat like poison. He seems unconscious. Sweat gleams on his forehead despite the room's chill. The darkness Kate sensed earlier coils around him. Her wolf whines, pressing against her skin in an instinctive attempt to get away from what can only be dark magic. "Is he the demon?" she asks as Iris bursts in behind her. "No!" Iris plants herself between Kate and the couch. "But he made a pact with one. He's a magician." So this man has unlimited powers? Kate's mind races with possibilities. "Yes," Iris admits. He uses it to grant wishes for a price. Granting wishes. Limitless power. Hope surges in Kate's chest. "Wake him. I need him." Iris looks at her like she's just suggested they juggle live grenades. "In case you didn't notice," she deadpans, "he's not really functioning right now." "What's wrong with him?" Kate asks, already planning what she'll wish for when they wake him. Iris whirls on her. "This is what happens when he breaks the rules. He's like this because he tried to help someone, like knowing him. He'll try to help you if he were to wake up." "Good." Kate steps forward. "How do we wake him?" "If he helps you in this state, he could die." The raw pain in Iris's voice actually makes Kate step back. "Look, if he doesn't help me, all of my friends could die too." Kate's fists clench at her sides. "My father, my sister, everyone I've ever loved, they could. Well, all the people I ever loved are already dead." Iris's voice cracks. "There's just him now. That's it. He's all I have left." The look she sends Kate is one of pure despair. "You're not waking him up," she says. "Over my dead body." Kate sighs, studying the man. She doesn't particularly care if someone who'd make a deal with demons lives or dies, but something in Iris's protective stance reminds her too much of herself. "All right." She pinches the bridge of her nose. "Well, if not him, do you know any other demon worshippers who could help me?" Iris rolls her eyes. "Adrian doesn't worship demons." "Who's Adrian?" A look of pure exasperation crosses Iris's face. "Oh, right." Kate glances at the unconscious man. "This guy." She begins to pace, hopes crumbling like sand through her fingers. Time is running out, and her one lead is lying there useless, while Silas probably already has plans in motion. Iris shuffles uncomfortably beside her. "Surely it can't be that bad," she asks. The words burst from Kate like a dam breaking. She tells Iris everything, about Silas's perfect mask, about everyone falling under his spell, about Ryder leaving and returning only to be threatened, about being utterly alone for 6 years while watching her sister fall deeper under his influence. "Wait," Iris frowns. "So this Silas guy can enchant everyone into he's the nice guy?" Kate nods miserably. "It wasn't always like this. I rejected his marriage proposal once, and then suddenly everyone thought he was perfect. Everyone except me." Something sparks in Iris's eyes. "That actually sounds like something Adrian would do. His magic always comes with a price." She studies Kate. "You must be that price." "What?" "Think about it. You rejected him, then suddenly everyone adores him? Sounds like he wished for everyone to love him, including you since you just rejected him." Iris's voice grows more confident. "And everyone does adore him, just not you. The price was what he cared for most, your genuine admiration." Kate's not entirely sure this makes sense, but Iris seems certain. "So how do I break the spell?" "Adrian couldn't annul a wish he made, though he might be able to grant you a wish around it." Iris grimaces. "But that would be breaking the rules. and making him sicker. Kate glances at Adrian's unconscious form. Iris closes her eyes, muttering to herself, Think. What would Adrian do? Are you sure we can't wake? No. Iris's glare could melt steel. Then she brightens. Okay. Your Silas sounds like a manipulative asshole. Adrian doesn't like manipulative assholes. The guy who made a pact with an actual demon doesn't like manipulative assholes? Not helping. Iris huffs. He doesn't actually want to grant wishes, you know. He just has to, even when he's against it. So the last time a shady guy made a wish like this, he added a sort of insurance policy. Meaning? Meaning the magic is conditional, tied to Silas's existence. At Kate's blank look, Iris throws up her hands. Basically, you kill him and the curse lifts. Kate sighs. Kill him? If only it were that easy. Silas is paranoid, protected, surrounded by devoted followers. People get desperate when you dangle what they want most in front of them, Iris observes. Meaning? Meaning Silas wants you to adore him like everyone else, right? A calculating look enters Iris's eyes. If I were you, I'd use this. Kate's mind races. What if she convinced Silas she'd fallen under his spell? He won't simply believe it. He's paranoid, not stupid. Maybe if Adrian could appear and make him think. Assuming he's the one who granted Silas's wish in the first place. Iris interrupts defensively. Then she glances at Adrian and sighs. Though yeah, knowing him probably. Could you help? Kate asks. You're his assistant. I've never even seen Silas. My being there wouldn't mean anything to him. But Iris's expression turns thoughtful, then slightly wicked. Although, you have a better idea? Maybe. Iris takes a look at the couch. Adrian's going to absolutely hate it. He's going to be furious. So, that's a no? Iris's grin widens into something a little unhinged. Oh no, she says. I'm definitely in. Let's give this asshole a taste of his own medicine. Kate nods, though not entirely sure if the asshole she's talking about is Silas or the magician himself. Chapter 15. Dawn is still an hour away as Kate paces in the reception room, each step carrying the weight of what's to come. The last trial looms ahead, and with it, everything she stands to lose. You're going to have to be much calmer if you want this to work. A deep, masculine voice cuts through her thoughts. Kate turns to find what appears to be a tall, lean man, lounging in her reading chair with casual grace. The sight is jarring, knowing it's Iris behind those bright green eyes that seem to glow in the dim light. Shouldn't you go and hide? Kate whispers, still unnerved by the transformation. The charm around Iris's neck has worked its magic perfectly. Where the human girl had stood, now sits an elegant figure with sharp features and messy copper hair. Do his eyes actually shine like that? Kate can't help asking. The unnatural brightness makes her wolf uneasy. Yes. The solemn response comes in Adrian's voice, though the slight smirk is pure Iris. Isn't it strange to be in a man's body? Probably not as strange as turning into a wolf. Iris shrugs. Though, to be fair, I'm not actually in a man's body. To me, I feel the same. The charm just creates an illusion that tricks you into seeing Adrian instead of me. Right. Kate catches the sound of approaching footsteps. All right, he's on his way, just like we practiced. Good luck! Iris slips behind a marble column, the movement fluid and graceful in Adrian's form. Kate would worry about Silas catching Iris's scent, but the charm seems to mask that too. Even her enhanced senses can't detect a trace of the other woman. Most importantly, though, according to Iris, the charm would protect her from Adrian's magic itself, meaning Silas's curse wouldn't affect her. The door opens with a soft click that sounds like destiny. You called for me? Silas's perfect smile gleams in the shadows. You won't get away with this, Kate snarls, letting 6 years of hatred fuel her words. I'll never let you take the pack. Silas's perfect smile doesn't waver. You don't have a choice, darling. I'll fight you, every step. Her voice drops lower. I'll end my own life if I have to convince my father you're not worthy. That lands. Silas's mask slips for just a moment, fear flickering in his eyes. They both know a threat, like that could sway Jensen, curse or no curse. You wouldn't dare, he starts, but a new voice cuts through the tension. My, quite the predicament you found yourself in. Adrian, Iris disguised as Adrian, emerges from the shadows with otherworldly grace. She waves a lazy hand and Kate pretends her body suddenly freezes into place, exactly as they'd practiced. You. Silas's snarl carries genuine hatred. Me. Iris's smirk fits Adrian's features perfectly as Silas waves a hand in front of Kate's unseeing eyes. Seems your wish isn't quite everything you hoped for. You tricked me, Silas growls. Did I? Iris affects an innocent tone that sounds dangerous in Adrian's voice. I told you there was a price, didn't I? Silas's perfect features contort with rage. Fix this. Well, Iris draws out the word like honey. There might be a way. Silas goes still. What do you mean? I could adjust the terms, make an exception, just this once. Iris examines Adrian's nails with careful nonchalance. For the right price, of course. 1 wish per person. You said those were the rules. Rules can be bent. Iris's green eyes gleam unnaturally. If one is properly motivated. Kate watches Silas consider this, hardly daring to breathe. According to Iris, the real Adrian couldn't have offered this, couldn't have lied. But Silas is already nodding, desperation winning over suspicion. Name your price, magician. Your firstborn child. Iris doesn't miss a beat. I find myself in need of a powerful shifter heir. Fine, Silas waves dismissively. I'll just have another. Now get it done. Kate's stomach turns at his casual cruelty, but she holds herself still as Iris snaps Adrian's long fingers. As you wish, she says. Showtime. Kate blinks rapidly, letting her eyes focus on Silas. What are you doing here? She asks, making sure to sound breathless and awed. Silas smirks. I had to see you before the trials, darling, he says, his perfect smile back in place. You did? Kate injects breathy wonder into her voice. Why? Because I'm going to compete for your hand, Kate, darling. She makes herself smile adoringly up at him, though her skin crawls. Really? She asks. You will? Silas preens, then waves at Iris. Leave us. Iris hurries toward the door, but Silas's voice stops her. Aren't you going to teleport out like usual? I used all my energy on that wish. Iris barely hesitates. Need to replenish it. My guards will show you to a guest room. Silas dismisses her, then turns back to Kate with hungry eyes. Now, precious, he purrs. Tell me how you feel about me. You're just so perfect, Kate gushes, channeling every simpering omega she's ever wanted to throttle. The way you walk into a room, it's like the air itself bows before you. Your smile could outshine the sun. Your eyes. She bats her lashes. They're like sapphires kissed by angels. Go on. Silas leans closer, practically vibrating with pleasure. The very mountains must envy your strength. Kate's wolf gags as she continues. Your voice is like honey dripped in gold. When you fight, it's like watching poetry in motion. More, he demands, eyes glazed with self-worship. Sometimes I catch myself counting your eyelashes because each one is a masterpiece. She's not even trying to make sense anymore. Your mere presence makes flowers bloom and birds sing, and his fingers grip her chin. Show me how much you want me. Kate gulps. Oh God, she's going to have to kiss him, doesn't she? Think of Ryder, she tells herself as Silas's mouth descends. But nothing could disguise this wrongness. Her stomach churns as his tongue forces its way into her mouth. She's about to shove him away, plan be damned, when a knock pierces the nightmare. Yes, she calls out, grateful for the interruption. The door opens. Silas, sorry to bother you, but have you seen... Kate's world shatters as she registers his scent, his voice, before even seeing Ryder. Though nothing could have prepared her for the pain in his gaze as he takes in the scene, her wrapped in Silas's possessive embrace, lips swollen from his kiss, reeking of intimacy. Watching 6 years of love crumble to dust in an instant, Kate sees the exact moment his heart breaks.
Chapter 16. Ryder. Consciousness returns to Ryder like swimming through honey, slow and thick. His limbs feel impossibly heavy, his eyelids resisting. Something nags at the edges of his foggy mind. A scent, familiar and beloved, tinged with distress. Kate. The thought pierces the haze. Had she been here? Her scent clings to his skin, too fresh to be imagined. But when he forces his eyes open, the room is empty. Flashes of memory surface, her voice calling his name, fingers brushing his cheek, the sharp edge of fear in her scent. But that can't be right. He'd have woken if she'd been here. Groaning, Ryder pushes himself upright, his head swimming with the motion. His thoughts are oddly disconnected, yet one memory breaks through with crystal clarity. Kate's voice in the enchanted room, soft and sure. I love you too. She loves him, he thinks. After 6 years of hurt and confusion, after everything they've endured, Kate Winters still loves him. Joy surges, unstoppable, and soon Ryder's laughing in sheer relief. They'd been too young the first time, but now they could get it right. Build something real. The thought energizes him as he stumbles into the shower, plans taking shape. They could combine packs, or he could relocate his operations here and... Oh, who even cares about stupid plans? Soon he'll be holding his mate properly, without enchantments or trials between them. They have all the time in the world. Fuck. He loves her so much it's ridiculous. And she loves him back. Him. Ryder's good mood carries him through dressing, though a question lingers. If Kate been in his room, why hadn't she woken him? The halls are quiet as he searches for her. She's not in the usual meeting spots, not with Bianca. His wolf grows restless, and when passing guard mentions seeing Silas in the East Wing's reception room, Ryder thinks, perfect. Silas will know where she is. Silas has always supported them, even back when. Ryder frowns. Something about Silas feels important, but the thought slips away as he approaches the reception room door. Voices drift through. Silas, sorry to bother you, but have you seen... Time shatters and rebuilds into something wrong. Kate? His voice sounds strange, distant, as though it belongs to someone else. She meets his eyes, and for a moment, regret flickers across her face. Or is it pity? Kate, his Kate, is wrapped in Silas's embrace, her lips swollen from kisses that weren't his. Ryder, my friend. Silas's voice is gentle, almost apologetic. We should talk. But Ryder can't look away from Kate. What are you doing? He asks, throat impossibly tight. Silas's arm tightens around her, protective and possessive. Tell him, darling, he coaxes. You owe him the truth. The truth? Ryder chokes out, though it burns to speak. Kate's voice is soft, intimate in a way that destroys him. Silas is participating in today's trial because he loves me. I do, Silas says. I thought I'd lost him to Bianca. But he loves me still, Ryder. Kate confesses. And I love him too. I can't deny what's between us. Ryder shakes his head, the ground tilting beneath him. Something's wrong, something off, but he doesn't know what. It doesn't make sense. But Kate, you said... He tries, but his voice cracks like glass. I care about you, Ryder, she says gently, as if it could soften the blow. I always will. But Silas is undeniable. I have to be his. You understand? He doesn't. He doesn't understand anything. The woman he's loved for years, the mate he thought he'd found again, has loved Silas all along. Excuse me. The words barely escape as he turns and walks away in a daze. His feet carry him somewhere. He doesn't know where. Doesn't care. His chest feels hollow. Carved out. Like someone's reached inside and scooped out everything that matters. I love you, she'd said in that golden room. Had she been lying then? Ryder stumbles through the corridors, vision blurred, chest heaving. Every breath feels like swallowing glass. His mind replays the scene in cruel detail. Kate in Silas's arms, her lips swollen from his kisses, that soft look in her eyes when she'd gazed up at him. What had he been thinking? That Kate Winters, Alpha's daughter, pack air, everything bright and beautiful, could ever truly want him? A half-breed orphan who used to be her guard. Memory strikes like lightning. Captain Bram's face twisted with disgust as he'd caught them training together. Know your place, boy. She's the Alpha's daughter, not for the likes of you. He'd proven himself since then, hadn't he? Become an Alpha in his own right? But playing at power doesn't change what he is. A half-breed bastard who dared reach above his station. His feet carry him to his chambers on instinct. He needs to leave. Now. Before he has to watch Kate choose Silas in front of everyone before... There you are. Derek's voice cuts through his spiral. Trials start in 20 minutes. Get your... He stops short, taking in Ryder's face. What are you doing? Ryder doesn't answer, yanking clothes from drawers with trembling hands. He can't stay here. Can't breathe here. Are you... packing? Derek's voice rises with disbelief. Leaving? After I gave up my spot for you? I think not. Not now, Derek. The growl tears from Ryder's throat as he tries to push past. Derek plants himself in the doorway, unmovable as stone. What happened? Yesterday it was all sunshine and rainbows with your girl, and now you just... She's not my girl. The words explode from him, raw and bleeding. She loves another. Now get out of my way. That doesn't make sense. Derek's frown deepens. She was literally confessing her feelings for you just yesterday, with hearts in her eyes. I saw it. Yeah, well... Ryder's laugh comes out jagged. That was probably just the enchanted room talking because Kate loves Silas. Silas again? Derek throws up his hands. What is it with everyone and that guy? He's the ideal heir. Ryder's voice drops to something hollow. Unlike me. Oh, come on. Where's all that confidence and charm from when you were swearing your eternal love? In pieces. The words taste like ash, along with my heart. He moves to leave, but Derek's next words freeze him in place. What if it's a test? He asks, serious. Ryder's shoulders tense. Don't be ridiculous. But what if it is? Derek presses. You swore you'd fight for her, Ryder, and right now it's looking like you're running away. Something snaps inside him. Ryder whirls, fangs lengthening with his fury. The love of my life just told me she's in love with another, he roars. So if you'll excuse me, I think I'm allowed. And I'm telling you, what if Kate's lying? I taught her how to play poker. Ryder snarls. I know when Kate lies. She has a tell, He stops breathing. The memory hits like a physical blow. Kate, young and frustrated, determined to beat him at cards, but never quite managing. She always hated when Ryder could do something she couldn't. Anything you can do, I can do better, she'd claim, nose in the air. Well, she hadn't managed to beat him at cards and she made him pay for it. Sourly. Years later, she'd been naked in his arms as Ryder confessed how he'd always known when she was bluffing, the way her fingers would twitch at her sides, like she wanted to snap them. "You've gone awfully silent," Derek observes. "Shut up." Ryder's mind races, replaying the scene in the reception room. He'd been so caught in the pain of seeing her with Silas, he hadn't. "Her fingers were twitching," he whispers. "What? When she told me she loved him?" Hope blooms in his chest, fragile as glass. "Her fingers were twitching. I feel like twitchy fingers are important." Derek's lips purse. "But I've got to say, I'm not quite sure why." "It's her tell." The words burst from him. "She was lying." "Oh." Derek nods sagely. "Well, of course she was. I keep telling you. I've got to get to those trials." Ryder grabs Derek's shoulders, his heart thundering. "That you do." They break into a run, tearing through the corridors toward the main hall. Ryder's mind spins with possibilities, hope warring with doubt with every step. What if he's seeing what he wants to see, fooling himself into more heartbreak? If Kate doesn't love Silas, why kiss him? One way or another, he has to know the truth.
Chapter 17. Kate. Kate's legs feel like lead as Silas guides her through the corridors toward the main hall, his grip on her arm a steel trap disguised as affection. Her wolf lies curled in a tight ball of misery inside her chest, whimpering at the memory of Ryder's face when he'd seen them. She'd planned for him to see her with Silas, of course, had known it would hurt him. That was the point, wasn't it? But not like this. Not with Silas's taste still bitter on her lips, not with her skin crawling from his touch. She hadn't been ready for the raw devastation in Ryder's eyes, the way his entire world seemed to shatter in that moment. What have I done? "You're awfully quiet, darling." Silas's perfect smile carries an edge of warning. "Aren't you excited? After all these years, we'll finally be together." "Of course," she manages, though the words taste like poison. Her wolf thrashes against her ribcage, desperate to run after Ryder, to explain, to fix what she's broken. But she can't. She'd known this would hurt him, had counted on it even. But she'd thought she'd be able to do so in a controlled environment, one in which she could have made him understand. What a fool she'd been. What kind of monster was she to deliberately wound the man she loves? "I can't wait until your father hears we're together." Silas practically vibrates with triumph as he pulls her along. "How long do you think until he hands over control of the pack completely?" "Soon, I hope." The words come out weak, automatic, as her mind spins with panic. She needs Ryder there for the trials, not just there. She needs him present, alert, watching. Her entire plan hinges on it. But after what he just saw, her chest aches at the thought of him leaving, of facing Silas alone. Could she even face Silas alone? The thought sends ice through her veins. She'd been so sure of herself last night, so certain of her path forward. Now, watching Silas preen with victory, all that certainty crumbles to ash. Her wolf whines, pressing against her consciousness with images of Ryder, young and earnest, teaching her to play poker. Older and beautiful, looking at her like she hung the moon. And now she might have lost him forever. What has she done? What was she thinking? "Almost there, my love." Silas's voice drips honey and lies. "Ready to start our future?" Kate's heart pounds against her ribs like a caged thing. She's not ready. She's not strong enough. She can't do this without Ryder. She can't. They round the corner to the main hall, and all hope dies in her chest. The great hall buzzes with anticipation, packed with faces both familiar and foreign. Her father stands proud on the dais, Bianca radiant beside him. The eliminated alphas line the walls like living trophies, their gazes heavy with judgment. Even Iris is there, still wearing Adrian's form like a cloak, blending into the shadows at the back. She should feel relief at seeing her only ally, but Kate can't feel anything past the gaping wound in her chest. One face is conspicuously absent. The knowledge that she's driven him away makes her wolf keen. Silas? Kate? Jensen's voice carries clear confusion as they approach, his eyes dropping to their linked arms. Alpha Jensen. Silas's voice rings with theatrical joy as he lifts Kate's hand. We, your daughter and I, come with the most joyful news. Is that so? Jensen leans forward, curiosity plain on his features. Silas's perfect smile widens as he turns to address the crowd. Kate and I are to be mates, Alpha. His voice booms through the hall. With your blessing, of course. The silence that follows is deafening. Kate watches shock ripple through the assembly like a wave, feels the weight of every stare. Her father's expression flickers between stupor and confusion. What? Jensen's gaze darts between them. But Silas, what about... He glances at Bianca, who stands frozen on the dais. Ah, yes. Silas's tone drips false regret. Sweet Bianca is delightful. But Kate... His grip on Kate's hand tightens painfully. Kate knows her place now. She's learned to submit, to recognize true power, and as Alpha, I'll need a mate who understands hierarchy. Kate's stomach turns as the crowd sighs dreamily. Through the curse's lens, his cruel words must sound like poetry. Beautiful, Jensen whispers, actual tears in his eyes. My boy, I had no idea you felt so passionately about my Katie cat. And you, Kate? Her father's voice is gentle. You feel the same? Kate meets Bianca's tearful gaze, her heart shattering anew. Yes, she forces out, the word like glass in her throat. Jensen nods slowly, turning to address the crowd. Nevertheless, I gave my word. Whoever wins the trials shall be Kate's mate. Have my pack. But the trials are already won. Silas interrupts smoothly. By Kate. She wins by forfeit since Ryder is... Ryder is what? The voice cuts through the hall like a blade, and Kate's heart stops. The crowd parts like water as Ryder strides forward, Derek at his shoulder, green-gold eyes blazing with defiance. Power rolls off him in waves, and Kate's knees nearly buckle with relief. When his gaze meets hers, she can't stop the tears that spring to her eyes. He came back. He came back for her. I believe, Ryder says, his voice carrying effortlessly through the hall, that we have one last trial left to fulfill. Jensen nods through conflict clouds his features. But Alpha! Silas's arm wraps around Kate like a python. Kate and I are in love. Surely you must understand we cannot have Ryder try and separate a much better suited match. You wish to compete for my hand in the trials, darling? Kate interrupts, injecting breathless wonder into her voice. That is the most romantic thing I've ever heard. Shock flickers across Silas's perfect features, but already she sees his curse working. The crowd sighs dreamily, clearly imagining the nobility of such a gesture. Oh, Father. Kate turns to Jensen, letting desperate hope color her tone. Surely you must allow it. It would only seem fair. Iris's voice rings from the crowd. I mean, everyone else went through all the other trials. Let Silas do this one. Jensen hesitates, clearly torn. I suppose, if it is what you want, Kate. He turns to address the assembled wolves, officially announcing Silas's participation alongside Kate and Ryder. Kate beams up at Silas, pressing close. She needs him confident, needs him to agree. Everything depends on it. Well, that and Ryder's cooperation. But he's here, watching her with those intense eyes. And he hasn't fled. The only trouble, Jensen continues, frowning, is that we'll have to postpone. I'd planned something for 2 people. Esteemed Alpha Jensen. Iris steps forward, still wearing Adrian's form like a second skin. Kate watches Silas's eyes widen at the sight of who he believes is his pet magician, then relax at Iris's calculated wink. May I suggest the perfect trial to determine who would be the next Alpha? And who are you? Jensen's brow furrows. Adrian is a friend of mine, Alpha. Silas cuts in smoothly. He is a powerful magician, whose wisdom has been infinitely precious to me over the years. You can trust him to come up with... His smile turns sharp. The perfect plan to help me win. The perfect plan to help determine the winner? Jensen shrugs. That does sound promising. Iris's eyes, bright green in Adrian's face, meet Kate's briefly. Well, it seems to me you've tested key qualities in your contenders. Tracking, wisdom, fighting skills, control, compatibility, strength, but... The dramatic pause that follows makes Kate's skin prickle with anticipation. How about a test of courage? Iris continues. After all, I hear the best alphas are the most courageous ones. Silas preens as Jensen nods approvingly. Go on, magician. What do you have in mind? Something simple, Iris says. I hear your pack is known for its nightshade business, so here's what I propose. Pour 3 cups of wine. Then, have one of your contenders pour nightshade into one of the cups. The other 2 contenders will need to choose which cups they'd like to drink. And then, well, they drink. Collective gasps ripple through the crowd. Kate makes sure her own features register appropriate shock and fear. Now wait a minute. Jensen starts, clearly alarmed. Are you saying you actually want them to risk their lives for this? Are you saying you'd give your pack to just anyone? Iris's challenge rings through the hall. Surely, your heir should earn their place if you want your legacy to stay strong. Wouldn't you agree? Kate watches her father's expression shift as the trap springs shut. He can't refuse now without appearing weak. Father, she squeezes Silas's hand. I'm willing to pass this challenge. I think it's fair. None of us will have any advantage over the other. Jensen's pride wars with concern on his face. Very well. He clears his throat. But my daughter Kate will pour the poison. Victory surges through Kate's chest as she turns to whisper in Silas's ear. My love, I will give you a cup free from poison. Make sure to hold on to it and let me handle Ryder. Then she meets Ryder's eyes across the hall. Mistrust shadows his features, along with sorrow. What do you say, Alpha Ryder? She lets challenge ring in her voice. Are you willing to die for this pack like Silas and I? She sees the moment it clicks, the slight widening of his eyes as he searches her gaze. He nods, slow and deliberate. Wonderful! Silas claps his hands together. Bring in the cups! Kate's heart pounds as servants appear with a silver tray bearing 3 identical crystal goblets. At Jensen's signal, servants draw heavy curtains around the table bearing the cups. Kate accepts the vial of nightshade with steady hands, though her heart threatens to burst from her chest. 5 drops, Jensen instructs, his voice tight with worry. In whichever cup you choose. Kate nods, stepping behind the curtains. Alone for a moment, she closes her eyes, drawing a deep breath. Please, she thinks, though she's not sure who she's praying to. With trembling fingers, she uncorks the vial and pours. I'm done, she announces, and the curtains sweep back. Kate lifts one crystal goblet and presents it to Silas with a dazzling smile. My love. He returns her smile, but she catches the flicker of doubt in his eyes. Her chest tightens. If Ryder doesn't understand, if he doesn't play along, everything falls apart. Kate turns to face him, keeping her expression carefully neutral. Choose your cup, Alpha Rider. Trouble shadows his features as he studies the remaining goblets. Aren't you going to choose for me? His voice carries an edge of unease. If you wish for me to choose for you. Kate's smile doesn't waver. Then I will. She lifts the middle cup, offering it to him with steady hands. Will you drink it? Kate asks softly. Ryder's eyes meet hers, searching. Is it poisoned, Kate? She holds his gaze without answering. Prove your courage and find out, she challenges. Ryder's jaw tightens as he raises the cup to his lips. Beside them, Silas goes perfectly still, watching Ryder with predatory focus. Kate lifts her own goblet, maintaining eye contact with Ryder as he drains his cup completely. My love? She turns to Silas, raising her glass in toast, but Silas's attention is fixed on Ryder, whose eyes suddenly roll back in his head. His massive frame crumples to the floor with a sickening thud. The hall erupts in chaos.
Chapter 18. Ryder. Ryder lies perfectly still on the cold marble floor, his heart beating slow and steady through years of practice. The hall erupts in chaos around him. Gasps, screams, the thunder of running feet. But he forces himself to remain limp, lifeless. If this is what Kate wants. He'd caught her meaning instantly when she declared the trial would be fair, with no advantage. Because Kate knows his secret. Has known since they were 13. Since that day he'd changed everything between them with a stupid, reckless challenge. We're friends, he'd insisted, brandishing the nightshade. Just admit it. We are not, she'd snarled, all teenage fury and wounded pride. So he'd done it. Swallowed the poison while her eyes went wide with horror. Collapsed dramatically as she screamed his name, lowered his heartbeat to the point where she couldn't hear it anymore, and then jumped up, laughing. Until he saw her tears. The memory still stings. Her fury afterward had been legendary. Weeks of silent treatment that had him wishing she'd just expose his secret instead. Immunity to nightshade was too valuable an advantage to be common knowledge. But she hadn't told. Not even when he finally broke down and told her everything. About his mother. About the microdoses of poison she'd forced into him since infancy. A barbaric practice, outlawed among civilized packs. But his mother hadn't been civilized, had she? Driven mad by her exile, by the shame of bearing a human's child, she'd seen Ryder as her chance for redemption. You'll be strong, she'd whisper as he writhed in agony. Strong enough to take back everything they stole from us. Now, listening to Silas's warm laughter somewhere above him, Ryder fights the urge to move. Kate had known he wouldn't fear the poison. If she'd wanted him dead, she'd never have agreed to this test. And Kate herself isn't suicidal, which means she intends Silas to die here. But why? Everyone adores Silas. Even Ryder's own memories of his old friend feel warm. Kate's words from the enchanted room echo in his mind. You left me alone with him. Had she meant Silas? But that's impossible. More laughter rings out above him, and Ryder's wolf bristles at the sound. Should he jump up now and demand answers? But Kate had wanted him to deceive them all. Kate, who'd kept his secret all these years, who shows all the signs of lying when she declares her love for Silas. What if it's a test? Derek had said. And so Ryder keeps still. The hall erupts in chaos around him, gasps, screams, the thunder of running feet. But he forces himself to remain limp, lifeless. My love. Silas's voice drips honey and pride. Let me prove my courage to you and our pack. Kate's laughter rings out, bright and clear. The crowd murmurs, questioning. Then silence drops like a stone. A choked gasp breaks the quiet. Ryder's eyes snap open as Silas crashes to his knees, face ashen, clawing at his throat. The hall erupts in chaos as Ryder sits up, drawing shocked cries from the assembled wolves. Kate's eyes find his, brimming with tears of relief and love. What the fuck is going on? Derek grabs fistfuls of his own hair, staring between Ryder and Silas's writhing form. How? Blood bubbles at Silas's lips. The words trigger something in Ryder's mind. A splitting headache as reality seems to shift. The dying man before him no longer appears heartbroken and betrayed. Instead, Ryder sees a seething coward, eyes burning with manic hatred. He blinks hard, confused. The pain in his head intensifies as memories begin to twist, reform, reveal their true shape. Suddenly he sees Silas sneering insults at him, openly threatening them before trials. Kate's fearful eyes as Silas loomed over her. Silas chokes, and another memory crashes through. Kate in the rain, tears streaming down her face as she explains how Silas had demanded her hand twice, how she'd refused him, but how everyone had suddenly started acting like she would marry him despite her protests. "Ryder," she'd asked, concerned, "why are you looking at me like this? What's wrong? You're going to be Silas's mate?" he hears himself asks, feeling his heart being crushed by both the memory and the realization that none of it had been real. That Kate had never, not once, said she would mate with Silas. "What are you talking about?" He remembers now, her face twisting in shock and fear, the raw anguish in her eyes. "I'd never mate with him. I love you." "What about us, Kate?" Past Ryder says, and it's too much. He can't listen to this anymore. He can't bear the thought of what it all means, of what he'd done. And yet, he hears it all anyway. Horror bubbling up to the surface as his brain rearranges itself. He hears and sees through years of lies and crumbling illusions, endless twisted memories only now shattering under the weight of the truth. And through it all, through all the horror of Silas' lies, threats, manipulations, and misdeeds, there is Kate, devastated, calling after him. "Ryder, don't go. Where are you going? Please come back. I love you, Ryder." He snaps his gaze open just as Silas, choking on his last breath, meets Kate's eyes. "All the cups were poisoned." Kate snarls, kicks him hard in the chest. "Now die, you piece of trash." Silas's eyes roll back. He's stopped breathing. Around them, the crowd stares in mounting horror as their enchanted memories shatter. "Silas had us all fooled," someone begins to scream. "Kate saved us," adds another. More screams. More horrified gasps as the pack's collective memory returns. The truth doesn't set you free, Ryder thinks. The truth hurts. "Oh shit." Derek points at the corpse. "Guy was a downright psychopath." Bianca collapses in tears while Jensen stands frozen in shock. Kate turns to Ryder, and there's blood trickling from her lips. "Kate," Ryder whispers. Her eyes close and she falls. A scream tears from his throat and he lunges forward, catching her before she hits the ground. No, Kate, look at me." But her skin is already turning gray, her hands going limp. "Kate!" Ryder exclaims, despair cloying his heart. Ryder clutches Kate to his chest. Her skin grows colder with each passing second, and 6 years of twisted memories hammer at his mind. Kate, in the rain, begging him not to leave. Kate's voice, cracking with desperation. How blind had he been? How completely had he failed her? While he'd been nursing his wounded pride over an imagined betrayal, he'd abandoned her to a monster's games. Every accusation he'd thrown at her, every moment he'd blamed her for choosing Silas. All lies. She'd never betrayed him. She'd never ended things. Instead, he'd betrayed her, leaving her alone to fight this battle. "You!" Jensen's roar cuts through Ryder's spiral of self-loathing. The Alpha's finger stabbing toward the magician, fury and grief warring in his eyes. "It was you who helped him. You who thought of this trial." "Okay, hold on." The magician holds up his hands. "First of all, I'm not Silas's friend. This was all Kate's idea." "My daughter is dying." Raw anguish bleeds into Jensen's voice. "Well, that's hardly my fault, is it? You're the one who let her take these trials." The magician's pout, a pout that seems oddly out of place on his face. "Silas said you were a powerful magician," Derek cuts in, eyes narrowing. Are you the one who helped him fool us all? For a moment, the magician looks almost embarrassed. Well, not exactly. Jensen's eyes flash alpha gold, promising violence, and the magician squeaks. Okay, stop. Look, I'm not even a magician. With one sharp movement, he yanks off his necklace. His tall figure dissolves, revealing a small human girl with strawberry blonde hair. I'm just Iris, she says. The hall falls silent, but Ryder barely notices, too focused on trying to shake life back into Kate's still form. His tears fall on her gray-tinged face as he begs her silently not to leave him. Well, you did just do magic, though, Derek points out. Guards! Jensen bellows and the girl shrieks, throwing up her hands. The world cracks. Darkness floods the room like living ink, an oppressive energy so powerful it drives wolves to their knees. Ryder curls protectively around Kate as the very air seems to vibrate with ancient power. He looks up, and his heart nearly stops. Where empty space had been stands a man. No. Something more than a man. Tall, lean. The thing looks like the magician from before. Only black veins crawl beneath his pale skin, and his eyes are bottomless pools of darkness. Power rolls off him in waves that make Ryder's wolf's hackle raise. What in the world? The being asks, his voice resonating with barely contained fury. Is going on here? The assembled wolves stare in frozen horror. Even Jensen seems unable to move or speak. Then, the small human girl pipes up. What the fuck, Adrian? Iris leaps to her feet, furious. What are you doing here? The being's black eyes shift to her, slowly morphing into something else, something more human with bright green irises. What am I doing here? What are you doing here, Iris? He asks, expression thunderous though less otherworldly. You should be in bed. The human stamps her foot. You were nearly catatonic earlier. Excuse me. Jensen tries to interject. Not now, Adrian growls. He snaps his fingers and Iris vanishes, reappearing at his side as he grabs her wrist. Let's go, he barks. She killed my daughter. Jensen finds his voice, grief turning to rage. Adrian's gaze fall from him to Iris again. Did you? He asks, sounding mildly inconvenienced by the accusation. No, Iris shoves at his chest. Kate's fine. She's been practicing her nightshade immunity. Her eyes find Ryder's. Said everything you can do, she can do better. Ryder's heart leaps as he looks down at Kate. There, so faint he'd missed it in his panic, the slow but steady rise and fall of her chest. She's still breathing, he calls out, hope surging through him. If the nightshade hasn't killed her yet, then... Bring the medics. Jensen's command sets the hall into motion. Right. Well, if that's all... Adrian sighs heavily. You're not thinking of teleporting us home, are you? Iris glares up at him. Because may I remind you... He silences her with a hand over her mouth. She stares at him angrily, and he stares back. Then, with a sigh, he closes his eyes and slowly presses his forehead to hers. Stop talking, he says. They vanish between one breath and the next, leaving only lingering shadows behind. Ryder doesn't wait for the chaos to settle. He gathers Kate in his arms and runs, praying to every god he knows that she'll survive, that he hasn't lost her again just when he's finally seen the truth. Stay with me, he pleads silently. Please, just stay with me this time.
Epilogue. Kate wakes slowly, awareness returning in gentle waves. The first thing she sees is Bianca curled beside her, tear tracks still visible on her sleeping face. Relief floods Kate's chest. It worked. It's over. They're free. She touches her sister's shoulder softly. Bianca's eyes flutter open, then go wide. Kate! The word comes out like a prayer as she flings herself forward, wrapping Kate in a fierce embrace. Kate holds her just as tightly, dizzy with joy and relief. 6 years of fear and isolation dissolve in the warmth of her sister's arms. I thought I'd lost you, Bianca's voice breaks, and I thought I'd lose you. Kate presses her face into her sister's hair. For 6 years, I thought I'd lose you. Bianca dissolves into tears, apologizing through broken sobs. I can't believe what he did. What he made us all, how horrible it must have been for you, all alone. Kate starts to offer comfort, but then catches the haunted look in her sister's eyes. The realization hits her like a physical blow. Bianca now has to live with memories of a monster who'd used magic to manipulate her feelings, who touched her without true consent. For a moment, Kate almost wishes she hadn't exposed Silas's true nature, if only to spare her sister this pain. Don't you dare. Bianca grabs her hands, reading her expression. Don't even go there. You saved us, Kate. You were so brave. The entire pack against you, all those alphas you had to reject, and Ryder. She breaks off, jumping to her feet. You must want to see him. What about you? Kate reaches for her sister, but Bianca manages a brave smile. I'll heal. With time. She squeezes Kate's hand. And right now, you need to see Ryder. Unless you'd rather see Father, he's beside himself with worry. Kate can't help but laugh, though the sound comes out watery. Ryder, she admits, please. He enters moments later, and Kate's breath catches in her throat. After 6 years, his presence still fills the room like sunlight breaking through clouds. Ryder's shoulders are tense with obvious worry, his hazel eyes dark with relief and something else, something guarded that shouldn't be there, not now when they're finally free. But even that hesitation can't dim the simple miracle of him standing before her. This is the man she'd fought for, had endured 6 years of isolation and pain to protect. The boy who'd swallowed nightshade just to make her admit they were friends, who'd taught her to play poker and held her through thunderstorms, who'd looked at her like she hung the moon even when she was being impossible. Kate. Her name falls from his lips like a prayer. He drops to his knees beside her bed, taking her hand with such gentle reverence it brings tears to her eyes. When he presses his lips to her fingers, she feels the slight tremble in his touch. Hi. She smiles. He returns the smile, but shadows linger in his eyes. Relief is written across his beautiful features, but there's guilt shadowing his eyes, a careful distance in his stance that makes her heart ache. Even now, he's trying to protect her, from himself this time, as if she hadn't spent 6 years fighting for the chance to be with him again, as if she hadn't faced down a monster just for the hope of this moment. What's wrong? Concern creeps into her voice. What's wrong? He gives a bitter laugh. You're asking me what's wrong. You almost died. I wasn't going to die. Kate rolls her eyes. I told you, Ryder, everything you can do, I can do better. He shakes his head, but she presses on. You scared me half to death once. I figured it was only fair to return the favor. A chuckle escapes him, though tears gather in his eyes. He kisses her forehead then. Should I go get your father? He asks, and Kate nearly gapes at that. What? She stares at him, bewildered. After 6 years apart, after everything they've been through, he wants to leave? Should I fetch your father? He repeats, almost formal. Or Bianca, perhaps. Ryder. Frustration colors her tone. I'd rather just stay with you. He frowns like he doesn't think he's heard her right. Why? He asks. The question hits her like a slap. Why? Because I love... Raw anguish twists his features. Don't, he says. Do not say that you love me after I failed you so completely. After I abandoned you. When you needed me. Kate shakes her head in protest. That wasn't your... But it was! The words burst from him, thick with self-loathing. I didn't fight for you. I didn't come back for 6 years, Kate. You thought I was mated to another, she defends, and I never should have. Ryder hands clench into fists. I don't deserve you, Kate. Now you listen to me, Ryder Blackwood. She sits up straight, fury lending her strength. I didn't survive 6 years being stuck with a psychopath, didn't fight tooth and nail to protect my pack and go through 10 stupid trials to earn my freedom to still be left without you. He blinks at her, looking torn. Ryder, she points to the chair beside her bed. Get your ass back here, and you're not leaving until I tell you to. Got it? Love and awe flood his expression as he obeys. Yeah, got it. Good. She grabs his collar and pulls him close. And by the way, I'm never telling you to leave, so you better get used to being here, striving for my forgiveness. Are we clear? Very clear. His voice comes out rough. I am upset that you left, she admits. I won't pretend it didn't hurt, but I lived with people under Silas's curse for years. I know how powerful it was. I know it wasn't your fault. He starts to protest, but she tightens her grip on his collar. Shut up. I love you. I waited 6 years to have you back. We wasted enough time. Now I intend to keep you. Then, for the first time, uncertainty creeps into her voice. Unless you're not interested. In which case, his kiss cuts her off, pouring 6 years of love and regret and promise into the contact. Kate melts into him, knowing they have work ahead. Years of hurt to heal, trust to rebuild. But their love is worth it. It always has been. Thank you for watching. If you're still here, you're awesome. And if you're awesome, consider being even more awesome by giving this video a thumbs up or a comment. Also, I'm thinking of writing a side piece, or like a quick sequel, if you will, focusing on Bianca's healing journey, and in parallels Kate's and Ryder's. Let me know if that sounds interesting, or if you'd prefer to move on to something entirely new. Thank you for your kind support.